This is the KoperCrabb Podcast.
Oh shit, I'm Cheney Crab.
Naveen Copperwise here, coming at you.
Today on the podcast, our guest is Amanda Gjelaj of the Machinist.
What up?
Yeah.
What up? What's up?
You know, just running the theme song.
You know, we just have to do it, the theme song. So what's up, man? How are you?
Good. I'm good. How are you guys? What's going on?
Not much. It's like...
Pretty good here.
Yeah, we're good. It's like really sunny today here, which I'm imagining that it's different for you in New York right now.
It's kind of sunny. It's not like warm or anything. It sucks out, but it's sunny.
That's chill.
Okay.
What kind of temperature are we looking at?
Right now, I would
Cold
say
stuff.
like probably like 30 degrees.
Oh, fuck that. Fuck that shit.
Yeah. It
Like-
sucks.
Cheney's from like the coldest place in America, by the way.
Yeah, I know. And you live like in the city. Do you live in Queens? I know you're from
I
Queens.
do.
but- Okay, so,
I do.
So you live like in the middle of a bunch of buildings that are probably blocking the wind.
I mean, yes, but then when you're walking down certain blocks, you'll get like wind tunnels. So it's like you'll like get like a little bit of like salvation, like walking in between the buildings, and you'll just hit like a corner, and it's just like wind.
That's just painful.
That's
Yeah, it sucks.
rough.
There we go, getting
What has
this.
it been like living there in the middle of this whole pandemic thing?
Really weird. I'm like not used to New York being so dead and there being nothing to do. It's kind of like insane, really. But it's just been weird. That's like the best way I could put it. It's weird.
So, you lived there your whole life?
No, I've moved around a lot all over like New York State. Was born in the Bronx and
Okay.
I was raised in Westchester, and I moved to the city when I was 19.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Well, where's Westchester?
It's like 30 minutes north of Queens. So it's just like the county above all the boroughs.
Okay, so you didn't like grow up in the city. You grew up kind of in the
No.
burbs.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. So did you like travel to the city a lot in your life?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah, I feel like during like the Myspace era of our lives, I was always like coming into the city to meet like people at shows and like, like pretty much just like go to concerts and stuff. And then I just like fell in love with the city, and I was like, I really hate the burbs. I got to get out of here. So that's what I did.
That's interesting
sick.
because, dude, I have to be honest, just being from, Iowa, where I'm from, and I'm from the burbs. I just like, there's something about living in a city that just doesn't like jive with me for some reason. Like I like living like in the middle of no one. What is it about that drew you in?
I guess like there just being everything everywhere. Like
All the time.
You have,
Everything,
like-
everywhere,
yeah,
all the time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Everything,
I'm kind of similar to like your story. I lived an hour and a half away from San Francisco, where like all the shows and stuff were, and I would always go up there. And then when I was like 20, I moved to San Francisco. But ultimately, I'm more of a Santa Cruz guy, like just chill by the beach kind of thing, I guess. But I don't know.
I've never been to California, so I can't even imagine like
Oh, really?
being by the beach and like chilling all the time.
So you haven't. Yeah, that's what we do, man. We just go to the
I
beach
know.
and smoke weed and
I
just
think
chill.
I think once you've had a taste of it, you're like, yeah, it's pretty cool, because I get the perceived convenience of living in a city, but there's also so many like downsides.
So many-
you know?
dude,
I mean,
so
it's cool
many
if you don't have a car. Do you own a
inconveniences.
car?
No,
Okay, that's
I
it.
don't drive.
Yeah, I think if
Whoa.
you don't drive and you don't own a car, then the city is sick for sure.
So do you not have a license?
I don't.
Whoa.
So have you guys gone on
Yeah.
tour and you don't drive?
I do not drive, no. I'm
Okay.
just the backseat driver. I'm like, slow down, we're gonna crash. And everyone's like, shut up, you don't even drive. You have like no say in anything, Amanda. Just sit there.
Dude, that's a good way to get out of driving
I know,
on
that
tour, though. I
is-
should have thought about that one.
That
Fuck,
is
no.
is like the pro move.
I know.
Dude.
It's like, no, I don't have a license. I actually can't.
Unintentionally. If my band watches it, it's completely unintentional.
She did it on purpose.
Like, you better get your license.
Bust it out, dude. I remember actually, like, when I was in Animals as Leaders, Tosin was like, yeah, my license is suspended. So for the first, like, couple tours, he didn't drive, you know?
Yeah.
And then we had, like, a few shows in Canada on a tour, and we were like, dude, I don't think they have, like, I don't think your license is expired in Canada, bro. Like, and we made him, as soon as we pulled into Canada, we made him drive, like, all the time.
It's your turn, dude.
Yeah. We were like, they're not going to know your license is suspended here, dude. You're like, you're fucking done. The free ride.
Honestly, though, I have it worked out in my band where I've talked everyone into, if I sell merch, then I don't have to drive. So it's like, I'll just sell merch and not hire a merch person just so I don't have to drive, because it fucking sucks having to drive. It's cool getting to, like, have a few drinks at the show and do, you know, just go to sleep after the show. And having to drive puts a huge damper on the fun of touring. So
yeah,
absolutely. I would not know what that's like, but I'm definitely the one who's like getting hammered and like, all right, let's pack up and go. And you're just like, you're so annoying.
Yeah.
So you've never driven a car? That's right.
No, I have driven a car, but I got into a really bad accident in high school. I was not driving. I was the passenger. But it was like so serious that it gave me like this like crazy PTSD. And I tried driving after this accident, and I would just like black out and get like really hysterical. So like, I guess I should try doing it now that I'm like 30 years old and like,
did you?
I'm like not like nervous about it, as much nervous as I was in the past. But that's like the main issue, is that like I'm really scared of driving.
Wow. Okay, that's totally understandable.
Did you get hurt?
I did. I got, so I had like these piercings. So what had happened was a car had stopped short in front of my friend at the time's car, and we crashed into the back of this van. And then the van that was in front of us crashed into the back of a bus filled with children. And it was kind of like a little pile up, like a backwards pile up. And our car caught on fire, and my nose rings and my piercings popped the airbag, and like my face slammed so hard into the dashboard that like this all caught on fire, and I had like huge burns and like my lips were swollen. And I'm so thankful I don't have any scars from it, but it was so traumatizing because I was just like on fire for a second, and then I had these burns. It was insane.
Oh my god.
Holy shit. So did you spend time in the hospital because of it?
I was just in the hospital for like a night, not even like overnight, just for a few hours, because it wasn't like a 3rd-degree burn, but like it was like I was on fire. So like some of my skin was missing and my face was all swollen and like disformed. And
oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like scary because it was like so crazy and like accidental, and it wasn't my friend's fault. I'm like very fearful of like other drivers. Like I don't trust anybody. Like even if I'm in the car with like whoever I'm with, I'm always like, oh my god, like that person's driving like a psycho, and everyone's like, you need to calm down. Like they're not going to hurt us. Like we're fine. So
honestly, that's one of the reasons why I like to drive a lot, is because I don't trust other drivers.
Yeah. I mean, there was a night in particular that Naveen saved us from being hit head on by a semi on a highway. I think it was in the middle of Texas. Like something happened, or it might've been what was it? A van? Do you want to tell the story? I feel like you remember.
We were on a 2-lane road, you know, where the cars are kind of going like this. And then I'm driving, and I'm seeing this. It was either like an RV or a semi or something huge. Yeah. And they're coming down, and it's like, oh, sick. Those guys are like in our lane. You know, that's tight. And then I don't know why, but something just like kicked in my brain, and it was just like, we're not gonna die. We're not gonna get into an accident right now. And I just kept hella cool and just swerved over into the shoulder, and they passed, and then I got back over. So it was like, it might have been like he was trying to go around someone or do something kind of stupid, but everyone was awake, and they were like fucking freaked.
It was
gnarly.
Horrific. It was horrifying.
I mean, shit like that.
I think I would have fainted.
Yeah. I mean,
I would have just passed out.
Yeah.
Well, so is your friend okay? What happened to your friend that was driving?
She's fine. Everything was fine. It was just like, it was really like me who got like hurt in that accident. I think she might have hurt like her arm or something, but I took like a big fucking blow to my head, and I just like couldn't even believe it because I was just like, airbags aren't just supposed to pop. Like, so it just like popped, it bursted, and it was completely accident. It was just such a big accident. It was like accidents on top of accidents in one accident. Yeah. So, I mean, everyone's fine. I don't know about like anybody else that was involved, like in the other cars, but I don't think like there was no like deaths. I don't think anyone was like severely injured. So that's positive.
Honestly, it's amazing that you even still want to tour, having been in, you know, because we drive more than we play shows. That's what touring is about. So that's amazing that you're like down to get in a van and go do the thing.
I trust my band. They're like really safe, and like because they're all aware of like this issue that I have, they're all very like calm, and like they drive carefully, and like everyone just like it's really cool that they're understanding. If they weren't understanding, I don't think that I would be as into touring and driving as often as we do.
Totally.
So yeah.
Have you guys done a lot of touring in the Machinist? I mean, you haven't been to California, which is fucking crazy. I hope you guys do get to come out here and play.
I hope so as well. Oh, I love the West Coast. I mean, the furthest out west that we've been was like Nevada.
Okay.
And
that's pretty cool.
So like we went pretty far out, but we just didn't go all the way to Cali.
Damn. Right.
But
you're so close.
We haven't really toured that often either.
Okay.
Yeah. How much did you have anything planned before the pandemic like broke all touring plans down?
No, not really touring plans. We had like I think a few shows lined up, and we had to like take our time writing our full length that we're currently recording still. Mm-hmm. And so I mean that the pandemic allowed us to like have time to write this album. So that's kind of awesome.
That is awesome.
But I'm sure that if this didn't happen, you know, we would all be touring and doing awesome things. It just sucks.
That's like what Shane and I were talking about yesterday. I was kind of like, well, you know, on the bright side, our band has gone through a lot of changes in the last few months, and it's kind of cool that we've had the time to sort of experiment with just Cheney and me doing the band and like doing a whole new album and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's not like, because if we got an offer or something like that, we'd be tempted to take it, but it's like it's honestly not really the right time for us to go on tour, you know?
Yeah, it just makes more sense to, I think, well, for us, it's just worked to be a time to like gather ourselves and rework what we want our band to be. And I imagine that that's how a lot of people are doing it. You know, it seems like a lot of people are making music in the break and using it in that way, which is tight.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you guys, like you probably would have written something had this not happened, but do you feel like it like allowed you guys to grow in a way that you wouldn't have been able to without it? Like as far as writers or as far as taking your time on the album?
I guess like it has. I mean, I know that we've had like my guitarist has had music written for this album already. It just allowed us to kind of like relax like ourselves. So like if we're all like relaxed and taking time off of everything, because we all lost our jobs and stuff, which really sucked bad, but we were all able to like kind of like get back down on earth and like figure ourselves out and kind of like work on ourselves. And I think that helped make this album better. Like everything is better because we feel better. We took time off. Everybody took time off to just, you know, just really like focus on themselves. And I think that helped. I really wish that we were able to tour this past year because I just feel like we're just we're still like in the beginning stages of like, you know, being where we want to be. And we just missed out on like opportunities to like go out there and like meet people and play music. And that's like the shitty part of everything.
Totally. How did you meet your band? Are you guys like all from the same area or?
Yeah. I met my guitarist at like a party like a few years ago, like over 10 years ago. And he was like, I need you to be in my band. And I was just like, okay, sure. That's literally how it happened. He was like DMing me like videos of him playing guitar. He's like, yo, what do you think of this? And I'd be like, sick. It's really sick. Like,
Fuck yeah.
and I was just really nonchalant. I was like, oh, whatever. I never thought that this band would be like as serious and as important to me as it is now. So I'm like really grateful for that opportunity. My bass player, Toby, we met him at a show. We were actually looking for a bassist, and he like ran up to us after we played a set. I was like, we're looking for a bass player. If you want to play bass for our band, come up to us.
Dude,
he,
that's
like,
the way to do
us.
it.
He was like, I want to be in your band. Can I try out? And we were like, yeah, totally. And since that moment, he was in our band, and same thing with our drummer. He was our second drummer, and they all like, it's a perfect fit.
Wait, you didn't call out on stage. You weren't like, this drummer fucking sucks. We're looking for a second
We're also
drummer.
looking for a new drummer.
If anyone wants to like hit us up after the show.
Imagine this guitarist, it's his last show as of now.
Yeah.
This guy blows.
That'd be pretty hard. Dude. That'd be pretty hard.
That would be badass.
Horrible.
But yeah, I knew that. So what's the name of that venue that we played during Summer Slaughter that you were bartending at?
It's
It's like
I've seen you at Irving Plaza and Gramercy. Those
Gramercy.
are both the
It's
venues
Gramercy.
I worked at.
Wait, no, it was Irving Plaza because you've worked at both of those places.
Mm-hmm.
she was at Gramercy at a show.
Yeah, you came
don't know
backstage
which
and
one it
hung out
was,
with us
though.
at Gramercy, I believe, right?
Mhm.
Gramercy is the
I
one that
remember
has
that.
Gramercy like has a basement, right? Well,
Mhm.
both have a basement, but Gramercy is like you just walk past a curtain. There's like a merch area in the bar area. I'm thinking of the right place, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
that's
so
Gramercy.
so you've bartended at both of those places?
Yeah, I was employed at both of those venues before the pandemic hit. So
Yeah.
that sucks.
So
Yeah,
like,
well, yeah,
you pretty
that's-
much that was a wrap on your job when the venues got shut down. Is that right?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Damn. Yeah, that
Sucks.
sucks.
And it's like both of my jobs, like my band being one and then bartending being the other, revolved around live music. So I was just like, fuck, like
Right.
Yeah.
there's nothing I can do. It's not like I work at a pub down the street. Like I worked at a huge music venue and like I toured. So it's just friggin' I was like, wow, great.
Yeah.
So what have you done since your jobs like are gone?
I haven't really been doing much. It's really hard to find work in New York. And I've just been hanging out at home
Yeah.
and trying to like learn new skills such as like painting. I try to teach myself how to sing. I bake a lot. I cook a lot.
yeah.
I eat a lot.
Same.
Just, yeah.
That sounds actually way like a great life.
I know. That's like it's more fun than having to leave and, work.
Yeah, I had like
It's
a
been
month.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a month with no work, and I was fine with it. I was like, this is awesome. Fuck it.
Well, one thing that's cool about it, it's like since, people's jobs have been ending or, they just haven't had work and unemployment is a thing. It's like you can take the time to hone in on things that you actually care about, which is cool. And getting skills that you actually care about. And baking was a huge thing for me at the beginning of quarantine. I was like learning new recipes all the time, but it's honestly kind of like I've started eating out a lot more than I was at the beginning of quarantine. And all of our gyms are closed and everything. So it's like we're kind of fucked in the like exercise department.
DoorDash
Yeah.
is not closed.
Yeah. DoorDash isn't closed. So I use it all the
Yeah.
time.
Same here. We had a period in New York where everything was closed for indoor dining. So they had like, it was like Vegas at one point. I don't know how else to put it. We were able to like walk up to the bars, get cocktails, and then just walk around with them like on the street and just go everywhere. So we were just getting like over the summer, we were like, okay, so we're not going to go out and stand around people. We're just going to grab our cocktails. We're going to go for a walk through the park and just like get wasted. And like we were just doing that all summer. It was pretty sick.
I know that.
So
I
miss
summer
that.
was actually kind of fun, basically, is what you're saying? It was like, it wasn't the worst thing. It was kind of, that
It was like shitty at first. I didn't leave my apartment for like 2.5 months. I didn't go outside at all.
Wow.
At all. And the first time I went outside, I like opened my fire escape and I was like, I'm going to sit on the fire escape because that's how much like I trusted being outside. And so it wasn't really like all like awesome in the beginning, but then I just like was getting tested. I like saw like people that I knew were getting tested as well, and were very, very like cautious. And I just had like this group of like 5 people that I would hang out with, and that kind of helps me keep like sane. Because not seeing my friends was just like so hard, and my family as well sucked. But it was pretty sick though. It was a good summer.
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, honestly, the year for us has been pretty cool too. But
yeah, I mean, I don't want to like be like.
I know that we're lucky, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be like, fuck yeah, we're having the best year ever because we like don't have any. There's nothing going on, so all you can do is kind of sit around and write music and shit. And well, for me, it's and drink beer. So I'm having a really good year, but I also recognize at the same time that a lot of people are just like dealing with a lot of shit right now. Like there are people who are in your position and have lost their jobs, but they have like 5 kids that depend on them, and their kids are all out of school. So now they're a full-time babysitter and they aren't making as much money as they were before. So I definitely recognize that it's been a horrible thing for some people, but
I can't imagine that.
I'm enjoying quarantine.
I know.
To be honest with you.
It's been all right. I mean, it's been okay. It's been weird for sure.
Yeah.
Different, as you were saying. It's weird, but I don't know. Living in like a city, I think would be definitely trippy.
Oh, totally.
Because you're just used to it being like 100% all the time, and then it's just
gone.
Like I remember when the Corona thing like first got real serious. This dude like flew a drone around San Francisco and like posted the videos on YouTube. It was like, you know, it had like millions of plays and stuff. And like, it was so crazy looking, you know? And I remember like for me, cause I work in the city a lot, I'll drive up, it's not like this anymore, but when Corona was first pretty bad, but I was still working, I would drive up there and it literally was like a ghost town, and you could park anywhere. That was the part that was just really weird.
Yeah.
And people were just doing like weird stuff. Like you could just park in the middle of the street, or like there wasn't like meter maids or like enforcement of anything. So it was kind of like what you're saying. Like you could just walk around and like drink or fucking just park your car in the middle of the street or I don't know. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Honestly, it's like, especially in a city like New York, it would just be so cool. I've wondered about New York this whole time, just how weird it is to go from like I've never seen New York not having like 1,000 people walking down each street at one time. So just imagining that as a ghost town is insane to me. And then I was talking to a friend of mine, Alex from Heavy New York. You probably know him, I would assume. And
Alex is a friend of mine. He's cool.
Yeah, he's a great dude. And he like lives in an apartment building, and he said that there were people coming down with COVID, but you never knew who was coming down with COVID. So he was like kind of not stoked about just walking around his building because he didn't know, like, you know, it was a really scary thing at the beginning, I think, and people were a little more like freaked out about it. But so do you feel like New York is like getting back to normal?
Kind of. I don't know. I feel like I don't think we're ever gonna get like the normal back that it once was. Like, I don't know. Like you said, there's always like so many people everywhere, and like I used to be so fucking mad walking around with all these people bumping into me on the street. I'd be like, yo, watch where you're going. Like, what the hell? And now I like walk and have like nobody near me. And I'm like, this is so weird. Like, I miss having that like loudness of like just people being everywhere. And, you know, we're known for like having like a crazy nightlife as well. Like, there's like no bars, like everything closes at 10 p.m. I'm like, what the hell? So strange.
I know. And what happens to all of those people who like, I'm sure that bartenders make a shitload of money in New York. I'm just assuming. Like what happens to all these people who aren't making any money? That's insane to me in a city like that. All of these fucking business, like, I mean, there are probably 10 million bars in New York City. So what happens to all of the people who are working there who like aren't, you know, is unemployment enough to live in New York at this point?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
definitely not.
Like really?
Definitely not.
Because it's like, I mean, yes, people might be doing less, like not going out as much and stuff, maybe not taking public transportation, but like you still have bills. You're an adult. You still have things that you have to take care of. And like we had in the beginning of the pandemic, one of our cats had gotten super sick, and he was like about to die, and it's our baby. We were not going to let that happen to him. He had to get all these blood transfusions. He was in the hospital for like 4 days, and like $16,000 later, he was fine. But like, how do you get $16,000 when like I'm like on unemployment, and then like my fiance is a essential worker. He works security at a building, and like with both of our incomes, it was just like, it was such a hard time for us to like take care of this. And it was like right in the beginning of the pandemic, and we were like, what the hell? Like, what more can happen now? It's just, it definitely sucks because things like that happen. It's not only, you know, bills and rent, like, you know, accidents happen, shit happens, and it sucks. It
really sucks. I remember you like made a Kickstarter or like a GoFundMe for your cat, didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you end up making the money in the long run?
No, we made some of it. We had to open up like credit cards to like pay off the rest of it. But you know, it was all worth it because he's like a totally different cat now, and he's like so awesome. So yeah, I mean, everybody that like helped us was like so sick. We didn't even know we made like, I think like $4,000 off of the GoFundMe, and we were like, whoa, that's so much money. Like, I can't believe like people cared enough to help us. So
I know, that's super rad. And that honestly, I think is a testament to like what happens with people in situations like this, and what did happen at the beginning of the pandemic. It's like when people are in need, there are ways to get help on the internet, especially if you like have a following or something like you do. And it's amazing to me that when people need money for dire situations like that, there are a bunch of people out there who will help them. And the internet is such an incredible tool for doing that, I think.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Same with the metal community. You know what I mean? Like the metal community is tight knit, and I think that's like the best part about metal. Yeah. Besides the music.
Yeah. I think
super
so.
Sick.
Right.
You know, like, the music's sick, but
besides the important part of metal, there is this
there's music.
But totally. And I've noticed that kind of like when we were in LA and shit, you know, because Channy and I lived in LA for a little while, and like you kind of get a taste of like these people that are in a similar, maybe like let's just put it this way, if you're in a metal band that's kind of smaller, but you're in a pop band that's kind of smaller, like in reality, the metal band with that smaller following is getting way more out of their community than the pop one. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like in pop, it's like you're either really big or just completely unknown.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And in metal, it's like there's an underground scene, and that's the thing that I always like loved and drew me to it, you know, and still to this day, you know, it's like super sick in that way. So like, yeah, I mean, I think not a pop band, but maybe just a band in another genre that's like as big as one of our bands, I don't know if they could raise $4,000 for their cat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, a little rant.
No, it's very true. I mean, to me, that's like a part of what kept me coming back to metal. It's like, I fucking love metal so much, and I love the style of music and everything about it. But the live shows in the community, when I was like 13 and started going to shows, that's what kept me coming back. Is like there were people to hang out with who saw where I was coming from, and that's a super and it's like the community it's huge. It's like it goes from you hang out with this like local base of people to you start touring, and then you start realizing that there are like little communities of metal people in every city that you can go to, and you feel a part of like this bigger thing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like that's definitely the best part about it. So like, how did you find out about metal, Amanda?
I just started like listening to it, I think randomly as like a kid. Like I like heard like Slipknot, and I was like,
yeah,
I like this. I like this a lot more than anything else I've ever listened to.
Totally.
So I just kind of went on from there, and I discovered Otep And that's what made me like, I was like, well, I definitely want
Cheney
to.
was obsessed with Otep.
I was obsessed with Otep when I was a kid.
I was obsessed. I used to wear like low-rise like trip pants and like ripped up white shirts and like have my hair all crazy. And I was like, yeah. And like every picture, my mom would be like, can you stop like doing this in every picture we take?
That
like,
sounds exactly like Cheney.
Totally. Dude, speaking of Otep, I have a fucking crazy story. Okay, are you familiar with Evil J, the old bass player of Otep? Okay.
No, I'm not.
Evil J was on Sevestra, right? So, and like, what was it? The Jihad EP that came out right before that. So I was like real into Otep when I was 15 or so, and I was on the Otep message board. And through that, I met Evil J, the bass player's brother. And so there was a tour that Otep did that like went from Chicago to somewhere a little past Des Moines, right? So I was talking to the bass player's brother about it. And, you know, I was obsessed with Otep. He knew how much I wanted to see them. So the bass player's brother got the tour booked in Des Moines. Okay. It was the first time I ever saw Otep. And he I met him at the show and he bought me like $100 worth of merch of Otep merch. And it was weird because there were only like 10 people at the show. And I think she was pretty pissed, so I didn't get a meter, and she like ran off stage. But thinking about it, like from here looking back, it's kind of weird that he got the show booked and like met me at the show and bought a bunch of merch for me. But to me then,
sus.
Yeah, it was a little sus, honestly. but nothing weird happened.
Now that I'm talking about it, I mean,
Yeah.
It's a little weird, but it was cool at the time because I was fucking way into Otep, man. Way into Otep.
I've never gotten to see Otep live, so you're so lucky. Like, I just wish I could. I mean, a lot of people, like, I've like spoken to people about like my love for Otep, and regardless of like how she is as a person, she's not like a piece of shit, like racist bitch. She's just like a bitch, I guess. I don't know. I'm just based off of what people have like said to me about her. And I'm like, cool, whatever. She stands up for a lot of things that I believe in, and I love that about her. And she's the reason why I even started doing vocals in the first place. So I'm like, fuck it. Like,
True
fucking
that.
awesome.
True
Blood Pigs is such a sick song. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
When like my old band was on one of our first tours, our tour and the Otep tour got like merged in Sacramento.
Oh yeah.
And the guitar. Okay, so this is kind of a funny story. Like,
There are a lot of funny stories.
for one, like, okay, so it was Animosity was my old band, and it was us. This band Psyopus. I don't know. Did you ever hear that band? Way back.
Mm-mm.
Way back when.
Yeah, way back.
Might
They were like kind of a spastic metal band.
Okay, it was, and then Into the Moat. I don't know if you know that band, but anyway, all three of the bands.
I know Into the Moat.
Okay, so all three of the bands had like really incredible drummers. You know, like let's just be real here. Everybody was super crazy, and like I heard out back.
Wait, did you just call yourself an incredible drummer?
Well, no, not but besides me. Besides me.
I didn't. That was really sly. I just caught.
Psyopus and Into the Moat. Those guys were insane drummers.
Yeah.
And then I'm okay. I'm obviously okay at drums.
Yeah.
Let's give myself
you
that.
hold. You're a good backbone.
So
I'll give
anyway,
you-
actually, I remember my dad saying that to me, like, "Damn, dude." Okay. Oh. Okay. Side story. My dad was like, "Do you get because in San Francisco we played over. We like headlined because we were like a really big local band.
Yeah.
So they were like, you guys should just headline because everyone's going to leave. It was a small tour, it was like this was like 15 years ago or more. Anyway, so we headlined and my dad was like, man, do you get like nervous playing after that drummer every night, And I was like, well, this is the only time that's happened. But
Yeah.
anyway.
About the drummer of Otep?
Of Into the Moat.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So anyway, in Sacramento, the shows get merged. And I'm like out back because I was like, just in this venue in Sacramento, all the vans park. Basically, the stage is right by the back door, and right by the back door is where everybody parks. So all the drummers always set their drum kits up back there. So we all had our kits back there, and we're all like warming up and stuff. And I hear the drummer talking to the bass player of Otep, like having like a meltdown.
Oh, fuck.
Because he was like, all these fucking drummers are so sick, man, and we have to get up there, and like it's gonna be embarrassing and all this shit.
I believe his name was Monkey.
Yeah, and I was like, oh man, that's so cringy, and I'm so glad that I'm not worried about that. Okay, and then a few minutes later, our guitar player comes up and he's like, dude, oh my god, Opeth, dude, you guys are so sick. Opeth is like the sickest band. And to the bass player, and he was like, yeah, Opeth is pretty sick.
They probably got that so often. Full disclosure, the reason I know about Opeth is because of my Google searches for Otep back when I was a kid. Because, when you search for like Otep metal when I was like 13, which I don't know, or 16, whatever, however many years ago that was, Opeth would be the thing that came up. And I was like, who the fuck is this loser band, Opeth? but I found out who they were because of that, man. So, hey.
But yeah, that was just like actually a hilarious day. And then they were also, like I said, we had all of our drum sets set up, and they were like, you guys gotta fucking move this shit, because the girl's name is Otep, right?
I don't think that's a real name. Hold on. Her real name is, do you know her real name?
I thought that she went by Otep.
Anyway, they were like,
I think it's Stephanie.
If Otep comes out here and fucking this shit's in her way, she's gonna fucking smash it. And I was like, what the fuck is with this fucking girl? And because I had no idea who they were.
Yeah, and you're like, what? She's gonna come out and smash my shit?
Also, side note, that was the day I signed up for Myspace.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was
A
that.
lot of memories that
What
day.
if we went to your MySpace and your first status was about Otep?
I don't know if I posted like.
You were like,
did you have statuses on MySpace?
No.
Yeah, I don't
Sorry.
remember.
No, did you not?
I like remember this. Like,
You remember
no,
MySpace?
what do you do? Yeah,
I don't remember what it
did you
was
do
like
on
at all.
MySpace?
I think you like posted in like a bulletin chat sort of thing, and you changed your like about me.
Yeah, like
make
people
layouts
had to
And you
like.
changed your song for sure.
and your song and your top 8.
Yeah, I
Oh,
remember
dude.
that.
And you changed
Real
your
shit.
top 8 depending on which one of your friends you wanted to fucking diss that day. Because you're like, bitch, you were my number 1 yesterday, but you're going down to number 8 today, and I'm putting Tiffany as my number 1. You can eat shit and die.
That's how you start a battle. Back in the day, 2005, you wanted to throw hands, you switched the bitch for number 1 with number 8. That was it.
It's so real. Dude, I remember this conversation I had with my best friend. I would get bent out of shape over my best friend putting people above me on his top 8. I was like, I remember getting mad about it. Do you know what your last song was on your MySpace, Amanda?
Let's go find it, dude.
Oh,
I have no idea.
we're going to pull up your
I
MySpace
think,
right now.
Oh my god.
MySpace apparently still
Please don't.
exists. Like, like apparently.
MySpace does still exist, I think, but I think it's hard to find things.
I know,
I don't know. I had a big phase of listening to techno and house music, so
Oh.
it could have been one of those.
Sick.
Were you like a raver back in the day?
And I wasn't a raver. I would go to like clubs in like Yonkers for like teen night and like
Oh, okay.
fist pump with like my friends.
Okay.
Damn.
And then
so
I'd be
you,
like, oh, I'm going to go to a show later. See ya.
okay, so you like mixed both worlds, though. You're getting the best of both worlds.
I really love like all genres of music. I'm like, I used to be really like, for a while I was like only like listening to metal, but then I was like, you know what? I really love everything. I love dancing. That's like a huge thing that I'm into.
Yeah.
Whether it be like by myself or like with my friends, or I used to dance. I used to take like classes and stuff
Oh, okay.
and dance with like a company back when I was younger. So it's always been like a thing I like. So I love like hip hop. I love house music and everything. So
What type of dancing did you do?
I did everything. My mom had me take like all these classes. I did like ballet, tap, jazz, friggin' theater dance, point, everything. It was so insane.
Oh, wow, that's
Okay.
awesome.
Wow, that's like legit dancing.
Yeah, like
Yes.
trained.
I was thinking like going to a bar and
That too. Hey, that shit's fun as fuck. What the
I
hell?
agree.
Can't
I
knock
mean,
it.
honestly, I've never I've never really related to people who are like, I can only listen to one genre of music and everything else fucking sucks. It's like, you aren't really getting like the best of the entire world if you limit yourself to just listening to metal or, you know, just like some crazy brutal ass metal. It's like, yeah, I get it, dude. Yeah, like, yeah, just all the time. And it's like, dude, I get it. I fucking love metal. However, there is a time and place for other things that aren't metal. Like, it doesn't define every moment of life.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm not sure like if you guys do the same, but I relate to metal more than anything. And it goes back to even like the community of the metal community being so small and like tight knit and stuff.
Yeah.
We're all these outcasts, and like, especially in New York, like we would like all like the kids that would go to shows, we would go to shows when we were like younger. And then after the show, we would go to like someone's apartment and we would have like a party where we would listen to like reggaeton and drink Hennessy and like just dance. Like we were just like throwing hands and like moshing at a hardcore show. And now we're here listening to friggin' Spanish music, dancing bachata and like having the time of our lives. So like, you know, the metal community in New York is just so, it's crazy. I think I just like love it.
What were the venues that you like grew up frequenting?
I went to a lot of like VFWs in upstate New York and the Chance in Poughkeepsie. It was a really big venue.
We played, but, my old band played there a bunch of times.
Yeah.
A couple times.
Yeah. And they used to have the Loft, which was upstairs.
Yeah.
The Chance was like the huge theater. And then there was the Loft, which was like the smaller venue that was upstairs. And then downstairs, there was another venue called Club Crannel. And there was all these venues. And sometimes they would have like festivals and like it was just so crazy. I feel like they don't have things like that anymore. Like a venue on top of a venue on top of a venue with like multiple shows happening at once.
Yeah, it seems like
that's what I would do. That's where we go.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm sure that it's different growing up in a scene like the New York scene as opposed to other scenes in the world, because I feel like the culture of the New York metal scene just goes back further, or you know, the New York hardcore scene. It's just like really deep. Did you go to hardcore shows as well, or was it like just metal? Or
I went to like everything, local, metal, hardcore. I love punk shows. I used to go to ska shows. I used to go to Thompson Square Park and see like Leftover Crack for free. And it would be like so sick. I'd be like 15 at these shows. I would just always go. I just loved going to shows. And I still do. Like, I love like working at the venue. I got to see every single genre of music you can think of. Mm-hmm. I've bartended and witnessed and like got to watch like that genre perform. And I just love it. It's always been a part of me since I was younger, and it still is now. I just love like going to like all shows.
Yeah, I agree with you. And honestly, I can't wait to go to another fucking show. It's like yesterday, no joke, I had Naveen get on the drum kit and play our entire new album all the way through for me just so I could like see some live music. And I was like getting chills, dude. I was like, this fucking rules. I was just drinking a beer with headphones on, watching him play our album. And it's like, this is what it's come to for me. I want to see live music so bad that I'm going to sit here and watch Naveen play a whole set, just drums, because it's like, it's so ingrained in who I am as well. Like I don't know where I'd be without going and seeing live music and just experiencing different bands, because dude, it's like, honestly, one of the best sounding live bands I've ever seen is Tegan and Sarah. Like, and that inspired me to dial in my band's sound even more. It's like you can draw so much influence from all of these different places that work in metal as well. And it's like, I just fucking miss it so much, man.
Yeah, I miss it. I'm also the type of guy who can like not go to a show for a long time, but we're starting to teeter, like ride that line. I'm like, all right, let's go to a show.
Yeah.
Like,
Yesterday we saw this flyer for a slam fest in South Dakota, and we were like, should we just like
I was like, if that happens, I'm going. Like, I don't even care who's playing. I'm fucking like, flying out there just to go to a fucking show.
Yeah. Like let's
what
go.
The hell?
No
you know, for real.
I feel the same way. I'm like fiending out to like go and see some live music.
Yeah.
We got to play like an online live show, which was really cool. But like it was like in our practice space, and I was like, great, like it's just us and like a camera guy, and it was just not the same. It was like so fun to perform and to like be a part of like a show, but like it being online with no people, no moshing, nothing, like it just was not the same at all.
No, totally.
Like I don't even need to play a show at this point. I just need to go and like be at a show, like drinking.
I know.
Like my friend.
I know. And it's like, honestly, I wanted to plan this whole like, all right, I want Cannibal to be the first band I see back or this. But it's like, dude, I'd take like any band I've never heard of. Like, I don't give a fuck. I just want to stand in front of a band.
I would take no name local band.
Yeah.
I just want to go to a show, dude.
Same.
I want to like go look. I want to go like look at the merch table, you know, just kind of browse, just.
Yeah, like pick up the stickers. Are these free?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just take one.
Yeah, just all that fucking stupid shit, dude. Like, I mean, looking back, it's like, man, there's so many shows that we didn't go to.
I know.
We should have went.
I know. I can't imagine.
I think about it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, all the times I was like, nah. Like, I got work tomorrow. I'll be like somewhere, whatever. Like, I don't need to go to a show. Now I'm like, why?
For
why
like good shows. Like good shows, I'm going to pass on that one.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Fuck that, dude.
Yep. I don't think that when shows come back, I'll be saying I'm tired as much as I used to. You know, it'll be like, all right, we're going. Because
we're talking about flying to South Dakota.
Dude, because it was like before you would look at a show schedule and you'd be like, whatever, they're going to tour here. They're going to be here again in like half a year. I'll go see that one. But now that's not something that I can like say with confidence anymore.
Can't say that.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, we don't know when it's coming back. It's not looking good.
It doesn't seem like. So you said that, I mean, I kind of asked you, but are like gyms and everything open in New York right now?
Yeah, they are.
Why are they?
Why is it? What's the lockdown in California?
I don't know.
You guys are.
We don't even know. We don't even know because it's like it changes so often. But I think about a week ago, nail salons and hair salons and massage places opened up again, but. We can't tell if we have like one major gym here and it's 24-hour fitness, right? That's how small. We live in a town of 50,000 people. So it's like not much going on as far as commercial shit goes or corporations go. And so we have one 24-hour fitness and it hasn't reopened. So we kind of are like assuming that it may have gone bankrupt.
Yeah, I'm thinking that because they stopped charging us.
Yeah.
So there's that.
But the lockdown thing here, it's like we still are on outdoor dining and outdoor whatever. All the bars are closed. Yeah, I mean, it's still like I think that we're still under the don't hang out with more than 10 people thing. And so it's like, you know, I think that out of everyone who's gone through this pandemic thing, probably the states that both of us live in have gone through it the worst for the most part. Or stayed close.
I think we had like the biggest changes because we live in two huge states that have huge cities. You guys have like LA, San Francisco, San Diego. We have New York City, all the boroughs.
Yep.
All these people, like, you know, we were just used to like busy shit, and like it sucks. We have indoor dining now though.
Okay.
And like you can't like I don't think you can just like go into a bar and drink. I think you still have to like purchase like at like a regular bar, purchase like a slice of pizza or something and like have it at your table and like eat
yeah.
it.
That's
they
what
have that
they're
going here too.
Yeah, it's like all of the breweries here are starting to like integrate food. Like they'll sell a beer cheese pretzel or some shit because you have to be selling food in order to sell beer now.
But the thing that they don't realize is that beer is food.
Yeah, I know.
So
it's very filling.
Right.
You know, that's
exactly.
like when I was a little kid, I was like way into Cannibal Corpse. I remember like me and my friend like found this interview with Corpse Grinder, and he was and it was like favorite food, and it was just beer, and I was like, damn, that's so cool.
Corpse Grinder.
So
is
ever
cool.
since then, I'm like, beer's a food, dude. Corpse Grinder said so. That's like nothing else to say about it.
So since you like work in venues and stuff, what do you think the coolest, most off-putting performance that you've seen was?
I don't know. I've seen like a lot of fucking cool shit. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I'm so thankful for like the job that I have because of the fact that I got to see so many amazing performances. I don't even know where to start. I've seen some cool ass people. I don't know. I guess my favorite part about like my favorite thing would be like the metal shows that come through because I always like make it a point to like go and like meet the bands and like hang out and stuff. And that's how I like network and make friends. Like I've gotten to meet like a lot of like big bands that like I look up to and stuff. And I don't know. I feel like I've just seen so many performers. I can't even like specifically say like one cool thing.
That's really cool though. You get like a free ticket to every show that comes through.
It's literally insane. I'm serious. Like it was so fucking cool. So sick.
So like what are the venues? Are you in contact with the venues that you work for? Like what are they saying? Are they like, oh, we're just basically screwed and we're gonna close down, or were they like trying to just buy time? Like you know what I mean? Because I don't know what venue owners are thinking. You know, and I'm sure a lot of people don't know that.
Well, the venues that I worked at were Live Nation venues. So Live Nation's a pretty big ticket service.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that like I'm not in cahoots with them. Like I don't really.
Yeah.
I work for a like catering company that's hired by Live Nation, so I don't really know what's going to happen with the venues.
Wow.
I do see like things that like our governor talks about, like opening up like sports arenas and stuff like by the summer. So if they're going to do that, I'm having hopes that maybe these venues will open, and maybe not for shows or live music, but at least to like have people go in and chill and like maybe like just drink and eat, something like that. I don't know. I'm trying to be hopeful that like something will happen by the summer, but you really don't know with like how the last year has been. Like we really just don't know what's going to happen.
I know.
Yeah.
So,
it's so true. It's like we can all just sit and hypothesize over it, but who the fuck knows?
Yeah,
like just yesterday, my year thing on Facebook popped up, and it was like me announcing the last tour that we had to cancel for last year. And it's just like, I mean, a year ago, I couldn't have imagined that this year would have transpired as it did.
Definitely.
It's fucking crazy. I don't think that anyone. This is totally unprecedented. Like no one knew that touring could stop for this long.
Definitely not.
And
I thought touring was just a
so
thing
weird.
that's always going on.
Yeah, it's like
always touring.
I mean, yeah, I feel like a lot of people did that, and maybe it's something that we need to reconsider because a lot of people made their whole living off of touring, and it's like this shit can go away. It's like
I know.
So I think it's cool that people have been like taking to the internet and stuff. That seems like a valuable tool to me. And speaking of the internet, this morning we watched your 60-second doc.
The Vice thing?
Yeah. How did that?
That's crazy.
How did that come about?
So my friend works for 60 Second Docs, or he did, and I met him on one of our first East Coast tours that we did. He was the photographer for one of the bands that we were touring with, and then I guess he like brought it up to 60 Second Docs. He's like, hey, I have like a friend who's kind of like hype on the internet, and this was at the time where I was just like going viral for like doing covers. So he was like, they want you to do this. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. It's just like kind of cringy for me to watch because it was like at a time where I was really stubborn and didn't want to learn how to like exhale or sing. So I was just like, I'm wearing a Mayhem shirt and I like smoke cigarettes and like, fuck, like shit's, fucking metal, inhales only. So cringy. It's like the cringiest thing in the whole world. When you said you watched it, I was like, oh, shit.
I didn't find it cringy at all. I actually was like, I was like, wow, she does only inhales. That's crazy because I can't do a fucking inhale to save my life. Because that shit, like it used to be like all the rage and shit, but it makes me cough like a motherfucker if I do inhales. And because of that, I've always found it very strange that people try to discredit inhaling vocals almost in the same way that they try to discredit cupping the mic, as if it's one, not like a skill, and two, cupping the mic, if you like do this and cup the mic, then it does change your tonality, but it's not like something that is cheating. Okay, you can't like. You're not like inhaling to cheat or anything like that. So I've always found it weird that people talked shit about inhaling. But is that why you found it cringy? Because people talk shit?
Because I was just like, well, no, because I was just so about inhaling at that time. And like, I only do outward vocals now. So I just like, I was just always like, oh, nah, like, I'm too good for that. Like, oh, everybody's just like talking shit about like me doing inhale. So I'm gonna keep doing them, okay? But then I was like, I have to like stop doing this shit. Like,
That's hilarious.
Nah, man. So what? Because for me, like starting out in vocals, I never went to inhales. I went directly to like, I'm doing I guess it's called exhale vocaling. I don't fucking know. I just do vocals, you know, but what inspired you to be use inhales rather than the other form of vocals?
Waking the Cadaver. I was like 15 and I was like, whoa, what's this little like pig noise? And everyone was like, oh, it's inhaling. And I was like, huh, interesting. And then I was like, well, I could do that. So much easier than like pushing out for me. So I just started doing that, and everyone would be like, oh, you're gonna like hurt your voice and this and that. And I would always just do them all the time and be like, I don't feel like I'm hurting my voice. So I was always like, I'm sorry that like you hurt your voice doing this. I really feel bad. But like, there's people that blow out their vocals from just doing vocals the normal way, which is outwards, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's like the same thing. You just have to know your limit. You can't like push past that. That's how you hurt yourself in any situation. So
that's absolutely true. I mean, it's when, you know, people will try to call out just the type of vocals that we do all the time as like, oh, you're going to hurt your voice. And it's like, well, no, because the same as singing is like a learned skill that doesn't actually hurt your voice. Screaming has that same effect on your vocals. Like, it's not, when I'm screaming personally, it doesn't feel like my vocal cord, like anything is hurting. Nothing is hurting in my throat when I do vocals. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. You just don't get it. They just don't get it.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like people always just needed like a reason to like complain or be upset, especially because like we're women. So it's like, they're like, well, you're just a girl and you do it the easy way because it's just easier for you. And I'm like, right. It makes sense. Right. Exactly. You're so right.
I know.
But like, no, I mean, I feel like that really is a big part of it. Like, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but I think that like a big part of like people like hating on a vocal style, whether you're doing inwards or outward vocals, is because we're women. Yeah. Like, you're always going to get shitted on in the scene, sadly, because of our sex, and that's like a whole other topic, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I do definitely agree with you, where I think that for certain people, like they've never heard my voice, they don't even know, they're just prejudging. Like, it's definitely a thing. You look at a video of a woman and you're like, she's gonna suck ass at doing whatever, so they just assume that you suck ass and that's all that's ever gonna matter to them. It doesn't matter what you sound like. So dude, I totally agree with you, and I don't mean to sound like that either, because I'm very like not about like poor me, I'm a woman, people dislike me because I'm a woman. I'm totally not about that shit. But I do recognize that people do prejudge you if you're a woman a lot of the time, especially if they've never heard you before. They're not like, they don't know anything about your work. I mean, dude, a good example, like one review that I read about my band way when we first started, it started like this. It was like, I heard this band from the outside of the venue and they were fucking sick. But then when I went inside and saw that it was a woman screaming, I knew that I would never like this shit. This band sucks. And maybe if they had a man doing the same parts, that I would actually like it. Yeah. But because it was a woman, I'm never going to be into it. And it's like, dude, the proof is right there. It's like, what? You would like the same voice coming from the same fucking person if I didn't have a vagina? It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's literally so mind-blowing to me. And for some time, I used to only like dress a certain way when I would like play shows or like go to venues, big t-shirts and like leggings and like boots, and like I was like, I'm not going to sexualize myself, or like, I would just say this because I was dumb and naive. I would be like, I'm not going to sexualize myself because I don't want any more judgment. I want people to like me for me. But I'm like, what? I'm a woman. Like, I'm proud of how I look. I'm not going to like hide myself or hide my body and like, you know, be like, oh, like, I don't want them to like think that I'm like too girly or anything. No, this is who I am. Like, and I'm so thankful that like through all their hate and like negativity, I was able to like build my confidence up and be better and do better for myself and like really just like be at the top of my game, like on some real shit. So I'm thankful for you motherfucking haters if you're watching this.
Yeah, I know. And
dude, I know.
It is crazy. Like there is more scrutiny because you're a girl doing vocals.
Yeah, it's totally true.
It's just totally true. You know? Like even on the Dying Fetus cover and stuff, it's like it's a lot of people saying it's great, but there's a couple people. What I've noticed just from the outside looking in is it's like the people that are the most haters though are just jealous vocalists. That's what it seems like to me. Because like sometimes I'll be like, if you see that negative comment or whatever, it's like, all right, let's look at this guy's profile, whatever. It's like, you know, guttural vocalist 137. You know, at Gmail or whatever, and it's like, dude,
I know.
You're fucking living in a basement and you suck, and you're fucking jealous because these girls are amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just pathetic. I don't get it.
I do think
I think at the end of the day that women just want to be like in this genre, whether you're a bassist, a guitarist, a drummer, a vocalist, we just want like, I just want to be recognized for having my talent without my fucking sex being thrown in there.
Same.
Definitely.
I think that's really it. That's like, that is what we're getting at when we talk about like female fronted. And when we talk like, dude, straight up, it's like you are in technically a female fronted band. I'm in a female fronted band. Our bands don't sound that much alike. Venom Prison, female fronted band. We don't sound like Venom Prison. Spirit Box, female fronted band. We don't sound like them at all. You know, it's like, but we, for some reason, all also get put in this same genre where it's like the female fronted genre, and they'll compare us like woman by woman, even though the shit that we do doesn't sound anything alike. It's like we're not doing anything that sounds alike, but for some reason it's like we're being compared. And I just have never, I don't get it. I think that for me, that's what actually bothers me about the female fronted thing. It's not, you can call my band female fronted, that doesn't bother me. But when you start putting us all in a genre that it's like, this woman is better than that woman, and that woman like fucking sucks. And it feels really bad for me because I'm friends with a lot of women in bands. It feels really bad for me to be compared to my friends and I'm sure that it feels bad for other people to be compared, who are my friend, to be compared to me. It's like, that's not what we're in it for. We're not in it to like, to have like the best woman of the year be placed at the top of the mountain. It's like, we are all in it for different things. We all do different things, and we all just want to be recognized for doing what we do without the woman thing being a preface to every single thing that we do.
I guess it's a marketing thing, or it gets attention, you know, like, oh, the 20 hottest girls in metal.
Well,
or whatever. It's just so silly, you know? It's like, it's
I
out of control.
personally, I'm never going to deny that it's like a marketing thing because I get it. It's like a girl screaming catches people's eyes. Okay, cool. It's a cool marketing thing. It's when you like dig too far into it that it's like,
yeah, I mean,
you know?
totally.
But yeah, I agree on that.
But for the most part, honestly, like what I've seen for the most part with Cheney going on tour and stuff, most people don't say anything about it. And it's just business as usual.
I
you know what
honestly,
I mean? I think it's just a couple people here and there that are making it into a fuss.
I agree. But
I don't think it's like in person that people like say something.
Yeah,
Never.
definitely not.
You see like girls like us, we go on stage and we're like mad beast mode, and guys that would want to say something are probably like, nah, I'm good actually. She's kind of scary. It's like,
yeah,
all right, that's what I thought. But like the second they're online, they're like, this girl.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me tell you about this. You know, like
yeah. It's like the difference between like when you're driving and when you're like in a supermarket, right? Like if you're driving and someone does something weird, you're like, oh, you fucking idiot, you know, fuck you, you know, I'm gonna kill your family. And then like if you're in a supermarket and someone like cuts in front of you, or like you're like, oh, so sorry, man. So sorry, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same fucking thing.
It totally
And
is.
it's just exaggerated because of the internet.
There's also the flip side of being like in a band that has a woman in it, which is that there are people who only like bands who have women in them. So, so that goes along with me, with it being hard for me to not admit that it is like there is some marketing just built directly into it, because some people do like bands just because they have women in them. And that's cool too. It's just hard to get away from the fact that I have a vagina and that's like in my band.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what am I going to do with it except just keep going, I guess.
Yeah. But for the, like I said, for the most part, for me, just witnessing it all, like for the most part, I think it is equal, or what you're saying, some sort of advantage from my perspective.
Well, so Amanda, I want to ask you, because I know how it feels for me. Does it start to annoy you when people start comparing your band to every other female-fronted band on Earth?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because I'm also like, because I'm obviously like, it's just like, I'm not dumb. So obviously you're comparing us because we have vaginas and like we're girls. We were born girls. Like there's no other, like I can't think of all the bands that you've listed, Venom Prison, you guys, my band, Monochromatic Black, like let's just like go on, Spirit Box, all these bands. Yes, we all have women fronting them, but they literally sound nothing alike.
Yeah.
Nothing alike. Even like the arch enemy, which is who we all get compared to the most. Nothing like this band.
Yeah.
Like not even like instrumentally. Like what are you like? Are you serious? It's very like mind blowing to me. And I always like, I don't know. I feel like it's something that like just pisses me the fuck off. But like I try not to like even like care that much and try to like make a positive thing out of it. Like, okay, cool. They recognize us all as like awesome, dope ass fucking vocalists, essentially, regardless of them saying like, oh, these are the female vocalists that I like. And they all kind of like remind me of each other because they're girls. Yeah. I'm still like, okay, well, they recognize our talent. Like, you know, it sucks that they always have to mention like, oh, but you know, she's a girl.
Yeah.
But, you know, I can appreciate people that are like nice about it. I don't like when people are like hateful about being a woman in a band. That's where it gets like kind of fucky for me.
I mean, that's just weird, you know?
Well, I don't know why anyone would care about that.
There's just something wrong with it.
Well, that's why it goes back to what you were saying. Like, I do kind of, if I ever read some like supreme hate about myself on the internet, then I can kind of always trace it back to jealousy, because, dude,
it's guttural vocalist 1666 at gmail.com.
Yeah, it's like it's hard for me. It's hard for me to read any hate on the internet that is directed at someone who's not like, let's say like a public persona, like a political person or whatever. It's hard for me to see any hate from someone and not think that they're just jealous or having a really bad day, and that's why they decided to make that shitty post on the internet. Like, I even know it in myself. I know that if I've ever felt like making a shitty post on the internet, it wasn't about the other person, or I've never wanted to make a shitty post about another person, but it was never about the thing as much as it was about my mindset and how I felt going into it.
Yeah, you gotta watch out. You gotta watch out for guttural vocalist
666
at yahoo.com.
Dude. Speaking of, I watched this guttural dude. So I was reading around. I try not to read a lot of this shit, but I saw someone share this cover that we did of Dying Fetus, and someone chimed in the comments, and they're like, her vocals fucking suck. She, on the part where it's supposed to go up in 1 millimeter in sound, she decides to go down 1 decibel. This fucking dumb bitch. And I was just like, dude. And I clicked on his page, and his profile picture was him holding a microphone.
Dude,
so it's like,
man. That's guttural vocalist.
Yeah, it's, come on.
That's guttural vocals.
I know.
Like brutal, guttural master.
That's like probably like the cringiest thing. I hate people that are like so specific. Like when you do a cover, it's supposed to be a cover and like your own take on the song.
Yeah, right. I know. That's what I've always thought too.
So when people are like, well, she didn't fucking do that right, or like, what the hell was that? Or like they get mad about like whatever like little like thing you added into like your cover. I like get my mind blown because I'm like, do you know what a cover is?
I know.
Or are you like,
It's like a rendition.
what's going on here?
Dude, there's a part on that Fetus song where Gallagher says fuck and Trey is saying something else. So I decided to go with the other line instead of complete the fuck. And they're like saying something on top of each other. And I was getting criticized for like not saying both of the things at the same time.
Yeah, it's like, dude, she's not two people.
Why didn't you say both of those words at the same time?
Like
You
she
know
cut
that's
off.
how the song goes.
She cut off his line.
It's like, dude,
and
it's
then if you had have like overdubbed it, then it would be she overdubbed that part, dude. That's so shitty.
You can't fucking win with these internet people, dude.
It's
I
crazy.
see them do it. The thing is, though, I say it all the time. If you aren't getting hate on the internet, then you aren't as well known as you want to be. You know, it's like
It's so true.
It really is, man. It's like
I really think that the reason why, like, you know, aside from my band being, I mean, I think my band's very talented. You know, I feel like we have like a way to go to like get like exactly what sound we want to achieve. But I am surrounded by super talented and amazing individuals, and I think that I think I forgot what I was saying because I spilled.
Would you spill beer?
Hold on 1 second. I spilled weed everywhere, and I was like, wait, hold on, I forgot. Hold on.
Oh, dude, you're giving me Cheney vibes. Are you like grinding weed and you spilled it everywhere?
Yeah, and then I got this new bong yesterday with my fiance, and it's probably the sickest thing I've ever gotten in my whole life. I don't know if you guys smoke pieces or anything.
We do.
But this bong, so it looks like this. And it's filled with like this like liquid oil
Oh, shit.
inside of here in the slide and inside of the bong itself. So you could take out the bowl and the slide and you put them in the freezer for like 15, 20 minutes. They get ice cold. And while they're in the freezer, you put the bong with the water in your fridge. You put it all together, you pack it, and it's like having like an ice cold hit. And it's like the sickest thing ever.
Dude, that's the best. I'm obsessed with putting, just icing my bongs so that I have like a very smooth hit. But that that is what I need, that piece you have right there. So what's it like getting weed in the pandemic in New York?
Yo, nobody ever stops hustling weed in New York. Like,
That's
I'm
true.
sorry. Like, that was like the one thing. If that was your job, you were making bank all of 2020.
You
Like,
did not have to
straight
file
up.
for unemployment because everyone is smoking your weed.
So in New York,
I
there's
would,
no.
I would like literally
Oh, you're breaking out. Hold up.
like, you guys.
Okay, you're back.
But yeah, in New York, you guys have a weed's totally illegal or what? No weed.
It's decriminalized. There's some medical marijuana shops all over the city and stuff.
Oh, really?
I think it's gonna be legal soon. I hope.
Yeah.
I hope
It's
so.
going to be legal everywhere. pretty
I
soon.
hope too, because I'll tell you what, I'm getting sick of coming to New York and it's not like top shelf dank ass weed. I mean, it's really good weed, but it's not like that. You gotta have that like extra kick of just like laced crystals all over the bud, and just like, I mean, you probably get the bomb weed, but when I come to New York and I'm just getting weed off of someone at a show, it's like, dude.
You're like, there's like
No.
seeds and stems, and you're like, what is this shit?
I know, it's like, am I supposed to plant a bush with this or what the fuck?
Is it that bad?
No, New York weed
I
is
mean,
not
like,
that
if
bad.
you're getting like some weed can be bad. You'll have somebody who's like, yo, I got like this crazy ass bud from California, and then like you buy it and you're like, all right, I'll take an eighth. Like, sure. You buy it and it's some like fucking regs, some bullshit. And you're like,
Yeah.
what? Who are you lying to?
Dude, do you guys call weed Reggie Miller out there? Reggie?
I feel like I refer to Reggie as like
Regular
like
weed.
yeah, like bottom
Shot
weed.
Yeah,
weed.
right,
It's like, we're talking like 20 an eighth type weed. It's
Yeah.
Reggie Miller.
Yes. We're
Yeah.
talking like the guy who sells Reggie sells $5 bags. Like he's like, I got Nicks on deck. You want a Nick?
Growing up in California, I didn't know there was such a thing called regular until I went on tour.
Wow. What a fucking blessed
Yeah.
life you
Yeah, I
lived.
know. Well, thank
I know.
you.
I know.
It's like
Must
I've been
have
out
been so
I know.
nice.
I'm sorry.
I've been out there trying to get high off of like $100 worth of Reggie Miller and just like smoking through it, and you never get high one
No,
time.
I didn't know what that was until like we went and played like shows in Texas and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like, dude,
Texas
their
rolls
weed, they were like,
up
it was
with
like their
shitty
weed here is like it's got seeds in it and stuff. It's like really shitty. And I remember we would smoke like whole joints of it and whatnot.
and no one was ever high. It's like
Just because I grew
oregano.
up
But
here,
then you have like that
You know?
smell of like the fucking seeds that burn and you're smoking them.
and they're like popping and
awful.
shit. Snap, crackle,
I know
pop.
they're popping while you're smoking the
Yeah, it's
joint
like,
and shit.
Oh,
That's how you know.
God.
That's how you know it's dire times for me on tour. Is if you're around me and I'm smoking something and it starts popping, then it's like, dude, Cheney's hit rock bottom over here too.
Actually, that's probably I kind of want maybe something like that. You know, like a little
Take me back
less
to
of
tour.
and you can like a little less of a strong weed, and you can just kind of chill, like smoke a whole joint.
Yeah. Wait, so are you? You're cool to just smoke weed? Wait, you said it was decriminalized, so your neighbors don't care if you smoke.
They don't fucking.
I mean, they did at one point, but homegirl was caught. She was smoking a blunt out of her window, and I like locked eyes with her one day. This 3 years ago, because her husband was like, "You guys need to stop smoking weed, Dad." Like, what? So I saw her smoking a blunt, and she like was hanging out of her window, and like we locked eyes, and I like it was like this moment of like 30 seconds of awkwardness where she's like,
Caught.
my husband's not home and I'm smoking weed and like I know this will make him tight. So I think like if he complained after that, she was like, come on, do you remember being young? Like, come on, she must have done something like that because they haven't complained ever since that moment. And now I always see her smoking out of her window, which is like I'm not gonna judge, you know. She like
Why would you
You gotta
judge?
do
You're
what
over
you
there
gotta
with your
do,
bong.
man.
You're over there with your sick ass bong getting high too. It's like pass it
we're
over.
always doing it. I think when we first like moved into this apartment specifically, like we were like so reckless. We were just like, I would be smoking like I would siphon like 2 blunts at once. I'd be like, yeah, like whatever, no incense lit, nothing. Like I wouldn't like open a window, just like hot box this little apartment we're in. And I think our neighbors are like, okay, like clearly it never smelled like weed until you guys moved in here, and like now it just smells like weed everywhere.
It's the metal.
But-
It's the metal heathens that have moved in
metalheads.
and started.
I know.
Metalheads.
And that's the other thing. I practice vocals in here, so I know for a fact that like my like super like old neighbors that live upstairs are like, that's the girl that's always screaming like the devil inside of her apartment. Don't look at her.
Possessed.
I know. I was gonna ask you if you practice a lot in there. So you've never had anyone say anything to you about the noises that you make?
No. I think they're like scared. I really like the apartment building I live in has like super diverse people. So there's like a really sweet couple like downstairs that's from like India, and they're like old. And then like upstairs, like on the 4th floor is like this really cute like old like Mexican grandma and like her husband, and like they're just so adorable. And I think that they genuinely are like kind of like freaked out of like me and my fiance, because we're like tattooed and like we're really loud, and like we'll be like, hey, do you need help? Like going down the stairs, and they're like, no, we're okay. Like, don't
got it.
touch it.
We got it, devil woman.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like, I feel like they don't complain because they're like maybe like a little weirded out. Because, you know, it's not often you see people like us in this neighborhood specifically. So.
Oh, really? Is it like it's a not metal neighborhood you live in?
You're in Queens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's
Yeah.
so Queens is like the furthest out borough, right?
It depends on what you
what's
mean by
what
furthest
is
out.
yeah,
I mean,
that's what I'm wondering. Once I said it, I was like, what am I talking about furthest out from? But
From-
I guess like
it's
from
the
Manhattan,
furthest
I
out
it
from
depends.
Manhattan.
It's one of the biggest boroughs. So like you could live in Queens, but you could live all the way out east in Queens and be like an hour and fucking 45 minutes, 2 hours away by bus and train from Manhattan.
Oh shit.
I live like if I walk outside on my block, I can see Manhattan from like my street. So I'm like really close to the city, which
Okay.
is really awesome.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's super cool. So you can just like, but have you even been going there much in the whole quarantine thing?
no, I haven't. I think I've been there like maybe 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Over the summer, my fiance and I walked from our apartment all the way through Brooklyn into the Lower East Side of Manhattan and then into Midtown.
Oh,
back
that's
to
sick.
Queens. And that was like insane. Yeah, it was like 20 miles. It was sick.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
that must have been really fun.
I know, that must have been so cool. See, New York is the type of place that like I could spend a month. We've honestly talked about, you know, maybe sometime in our lives we could live there for like 6 months, just get like ingrained in the culture and like really make friends and hang out and shit. But forever it just kind of seems like, I don't know, it's the city vibe is just weird to me, but at the same time it's super cool when you're like talking about all of these different people that you like see on a daily basis. It's not like that in Santa Cruz. Like cultures aren't intertwined. It's not a melting pot, you know? It's like it's mostly white, like middle-aged people and stuff, but that part of the city I think is very alluring to me, that it's just like a bunch of different people on a bunch of different fucking tips, a bunch of different cultural aspects and stuff. That's really cool. And
yeah, but you know, I feel like with everything that happened in regards to like Black Lives Matter, you know, this past year, you see like, you know, it sounds so awesome, and yes, it is such a melting pot, and yes, there's so many beautiful, diverse people and communities here, but like when that whole shit was going down and we were going to protest, you saw like when we were walking around with like, or I have a no conviction shirt that has like the KKK being hung by their necks and it says fuck your white pride. You're walking around with these shirts, people will say shit and be like, you're a fucking idiot, you're a fucking racist, and I'm like, what? My shirt is like the opposite, but okay, got you. Like, so like people like come out and like you see how many like hateful, terrible people there are, even here in a place that like is so beautiful and so diverse. It's just, you can't escape like certain fucked up shit. And I guess that's what I'm getting at. Like, you know, like you would think that this is like the last place that would have like such racist, terrible people, but there really are a lot of them. And they were in hiding for some time. And I guess they came out for a little bit to like show their true colors. And now they're just tucked away again in like their weird little communities that they have.
Do you think
fucking weird?
Do you think that a part of that is because like, you know, New York City is notoriously like separate cultures will kind of stick to themselves. You know, there's like a place where certain people live. Do you think that a part of that has to do with that?
I guess like certain like neighborhoods and stuff will have like certain people, I guess, living in them, but still like it doesn't matter. Like I've always been told, I've lived in this neighborhood specifically for like 10 years. And I've always been told that it's like an Irish neighborhood. And I'm like, I rarely see anyone that's like Irish. I see so many different types of cultures, whether they be like Eastern European or any like Hispanic culture or any like a lot of like Asian cultures, and you know, just so many different people. It's like I've never really seen that. So yes, I guess that could be it, but I don't like if there that is a thing where like these people are like in their like own little communities and stuff. Yeah. I don't really see it. And the only time I was like aware of like any sort of like hateful people being around me was this past year, really. Like when people were like approaching me and saying hateful things to me and calling me dumb, and I'm like, what? Yeah. I don't understand. Like, so strange.
So, do you feel like, was that a lot? Like when you were attending protests? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Or when I would just be walking around my neighborhood wearing like a shirt that these white people like just didn't like. So
yeah, it is fascinating. Like, you know, the personalities that come out in people if you wear something that is opposing what they may think they believe in. It is strange. And yeah, it's really in Santa Cruz, I feel like there wasn't really a lot of stuff going on around the Black Lives Matter movement, but like what was the climate like where you live surrounding that stuff? Do you feel like people were like coming together more, or it was that you were like walking around and seeing people who were like, fuck you?
I mean, I would say that people were definitely coming together more. We attended, I think, 3 protests, and all 3 protests like made me cry and like brought so much emotion to me, because I just like, first of all, I couldn't believe that we were protesting for the right of people just because of their color, which is just like the most ridiculous shit to me in this day of age. But not only that, but the amount of people that were there and like wanted to support each other and just like stand up for fucking, you know, what's right. Like that to me was like really amazing. I didn't experience anything while protesting as far as like people like saying anything, because I think when you're with the masses, like nobody's gonna fuck with you.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna get like some like person that has like some crazy racist theories like come up to you when you're like rolling with like thousands of people. Like it just won't happen. But when I was walking alone, I was getting coffee once, and like this one guy was like, "You stupid bitch," and I was like, "Excuse me, sir." Like I'm not sure if you were talking to me or someone behind me. And he like read my shirt to me and like said this crazy stuff, and I was like, and it was with my fiance, and I was like, "I'm gonna fuck you up," and he was like, "No, you're not. We're gonna keep going." Like he's an old man, and I was like, "This person's crazy, like coming like talking to me like that for what?" So strange, but
definitely weird.
That is weird. But, you know, at the same time, it's cool to see people come together for things that they believe in. And it's good that, like, that there were people like you who are out there like, you know what? Fuck all of you haters. We're going to work against you. And you're right. It's like, I do feel like we saw a lot of people who were on the side of like, we want to fight for what's good. And that to me is what matters. It's like people do care about other people.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that on the internet, there's this thing that happens. And, we, you know, as we were talking about with the like female fronted thing and in all walks of life, it's like there are people on the internet who want to be cold and like crazy on the internet and say really fucked up things. But when you do get a lot of people together in real life to have real conversations, it's like, dude, people do care about each other. And that is a place where people are coming from. It's like, you know, we care for people. We want to work for what's right. And that is what's important to me personally.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seemed like for the most part, you know, the stuff that you didn't hear about is it's a lot of just people out there peacefully doing their thing, you know. And of course the media goes towards the most, you know, conflict and the worst things that happen. But because I know people that I follow that live in New York, you know, they'd post like, "Hey, you know, we're out here being peaceful. It's like a really good time. Actually, everybody's really coming together, and it's really cool." But from the mainstream, what you hear is it's like, "Oh, it's chaos and da 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 this, that, and the other thing." And
I'm sure that in certain situations that it was, because
no, it definitely
I don't think that.
Yeah, it definitely was.
You know,
but for the most
but
part,
definitely even. Yeah, for me as well, like when we were protesting, it was so peaceful. And like, it literally, like I said, it brought me to tears. It was just so emotional and beautiful and like really amazing, like having everybody be together and have it be like just really peaceful. Like I couldn't even believe that I was like in this peaceful protest, like seeing what I was seeing on like the media and stuff. I was like going into this, like not really being familiar with protesting and stuff. And just like being there and seeing that it was just really calm and just like everybody was just there for each other was just so beautiful and really like life-changing for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you're someone like you lived around the city at the time of 9/11. Did you at all, I know that it's like weird but did you see any similarities in the way that people came together after 9/11 and the way that people were coming together for this movement?
I think that I think I was just like a little too young for that. I do know that, you know, it was like just from like what I saw, people were definitely coming together. It was just different because this was just different. This was led by like the youth and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that is it was just so moving. It was different. They were two totally different things. I do think that the city did come together for both.
Yeah.
And it was just like nice for everyone to put like their shit aside and like be there for each other. But still, it's very different because everyone sees like these younger kids, like these teenagers leading these protests. And they're like, oh, they're just stupid and naive and they don't know what they're doing. And it's like, well, they brought all these people together to like stand up and, you know, just like march and like with love. And like, I don't know, that to me is like really amazing. And it might be a little bit more of a powerful statement than just like coming together because of a tragedy. Because like I feel like if we didn't come together after a tragedy, we wouldn't be like New Yorkers. Like we were all just like, you had to be strong and like just like keep on going, and you know.
Yeah,
Totally.
true that, man. And that's funny because the other day we were having a conversation, and one of the things that I asked you is like how you think that being a New Yorker, like I guess defines you as a person as opposed to any cultural heritage that you may have. So do you, like, from an outsider's perspective, I see the New Yorker thing almost being a culture. Like it is a culture. To me, it's as much of a heritage as anything else. Do you feel that as a New Yorker? You're like, that's what I am.
Totally. I would like go any opportunity I get. I would be like, I'm from New York, and people would be like, "Whoa, New York, no way!" And I'm like, "Yes, bask in it. Yes, she's here." You know. But no, I do. I'm telling you, like, you can ask anybody if they're from New York, you know, born and raised and stuff. They'll definitely be like, "Yeah, I'm proud to be from like the city or be raised in the city." And I really think that that's like, it just makes us so special.
Dude, totally. Because New York is notoriously a place where, all, like we're saying, all kinds of fucking cultures and cultural heritages come together. But what I see out of people who are born there, more than anything that's like, you're Polish, you're Italian, whatever you are that defines you, it's like, you're a fucking New Yorker through and through. Yeah. Like, that's what you are.
Right. You'll see like anybody that's like in a band, like their Instagram bio will be like guitarist, New York.
Yeah.
Period. Like, is it always, just gotta throw that in there in case you couldn't tell. By the way, I say coffee, but like whatever, you know.
Dude, totally.
Definitely.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, I mean, my dad's whole side of the family is from New York, actually, from Long Island. So like,
oh, nice. What part? It's like right over here.
Yeah. It's actually Lynbrook.
Oh, okay, cool. I've heard of
like East
Lynbrook.
Rockaway. East Rockaway is what it is, really. And so it's I obviously have like a deep, you know, affinity towards New York and stuff. Like my grandpa came to New York and started basically our family, you know, in Brooklyn actually. So my grandma's from Brooklyn. So, and they're like,
that's awesome.
They're like your total just quintessential Brooklyn Jew, New Yorker, you know what I'm saying? Like Seinfeld.
I totally feel it, yeah.
Seinfeld type situation.
Yeah. Larry David.
Yeah. Like I showed my dad Curb Your Enthusiasm, you know, and he was just like, I can't watch this, man. It's just it's like it's not funny to me. You know, it's like it hits too close to home.
I have to say that Curb Your Enthusiasm is probably like my favorite show in the whole world.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's probably the funniest. Larry David is so fucking good. He's just so good. And
like even the latest like the latest season is fucking hilarious too. Like,
oh my god,
it's so good. Well,
I can't. If I like, it's my favorite.
Dude, it fucking rules. Naveen used to give lessons to this kid who went to the same school as Larry David's kids.
Yeah, this fucking kid lived in Brentwood, which is where Larry David lives.
Yeah. And so Naveen asked the kid's mom, like, what's Larry David like in real life? And she's like, he's exactly the same in real life. Like,
which is weird because he says that he's not the same.
Yeah, I know, but
I know
like,
I hear from like interviews and stuff like he's like not like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but dude, it's probably like he's a 10 on the show. It's probably dialed down to like 7.
Yeah.
If you know like any New York Jew, you know, it's like that's
I know
if
you fucking go hang out with my family, you're gonna be like, all right, this show's not funny.
Yeah,
I'm over it. Right. Dude. Like this is.
It's like, dude,
this is intense. I can't handle this.
All right, hold on 1 second, guys. I'm just gonna use the bathroom real quick.
Yeah, dude, no problem.
Go for it.
But for real, right, Cheney? I mean, what was your experience like when you
hanging out with
first went to Florida?
Well, the thing is that I knew like about Jewish people and stuff before, you know. I did. I knew about Jewish people just like existing in the world before I met your family, and then when I met your family,
you're like, oh, it's not just Seinfeld.
And I also like simultaneously knew about Seinfeld and knew about like the persona that goes along with being a Jewish person from New York. And then when I met your family, I was like, holy shit, these people like actually exist in real life.
It's legit.
This is crazy.
It's legit. It's super real.
No, but I enjoy it because the thing is that I think I kind of understand the personality. Like, I don't know if you noticed this, but...
You don't have a cup?
No, I don't have a cup. But when we go and hang out with your family and stuff, like, I understand the personality, so it makes anything that might be, like, sort of aggravating, like, less aggravating to me. Yeah. Because here's the thing, that it's a very, like, forward, like, personality. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very, like, in your business type thing.
Yeah. You just got to keep in mind, like, they're actually... Well, I will say about my family and my extended family, like, they're the nicest people.
Yeah.
And they're
great.
the most...
They really are great.
They're the most welcoming and nicest people, but if you're not used to that type of...
Like, acting as a person. Yeah.
It can come off, like... The New Yorker vibe can come off.
It's a New Yorker vibe more than it is like a people who are Jewish from New York.
Yeah, it's like
vibe.
it can come.
Did you hear that, Amanda?
Like, it can come off.
Well, I was saying because we've been talking about this, and it's like I feel like it's more of a New Yorker vibe than a like people who are Jewish or people who are Italian and from New York vibe. Like it's like there is something when people encounter a New Yorker and they've never encountered a New Yorker before. Like the vibe might be that New Yorkers are like a little too up front. Like you guys will
mean,
be like,
you know, but they're not
or you're mean.
Like
or you're
they're
mean.
not. They're actually not mean. They actually are the nicest people, and they care about you
caring,
the most.
Yeah.
But they're just their attitude is just more.
Do you have people
front,
outside of New York ever thought that you were mean? Because just based off of your like New York, just. You guys are like a little more forward. There's something about being from New York. Like, dude, the first time I met you, I was like, this girl is fucking New York through and through. Because I think I noticed you and you were like, bitch, I know you know who I am. And I was like, just trying to like, I was just like trying to put two and two together in my head. And I'm just kind of shy, like up front. And you were like, bitch, I know you know who I am. And I was like, this girl is from New York through and through because she is just like, so you're just like, there's some kind of honesty that exists in people from New York that just does not like, it's an upfront honesty and it's in your face. And I think that it can be misconstrued as being mean when
but
it's like,
not mean though.
It's not mean.
They're actually like the nicest people.
Yeah.
You know, like, because like my dad talks about that a lot. It's like when you go out to a restaurant in New York, like when he was a kid or whatever, so this is a long time ago, he'd be like, the waitress or whatever would come and they say, what do you want? You know, it's not like, hey, blah, blah, blah. It's just, what do you want?
What do you want?
What do you want? And that's not being mean. It's just, what do you want? You're here to get food. What do you want? You know, and they're actually way nice, but it's just, you know what I mean? And that's why I think.
Don't worry, everyone. It's actually way nice when people.
And honestly, with my dad,
I can't because like, you know, I was a waitress for like so many years in New York and I was literally like that. But then I remember going on tour in the South for the first time and walking to a Waffle House and having the waitress come up to me and be like, how you doing, baby? Can I get you iced tea? You drink, you hungry, you thirsty? And I was like, you're way too nice.
Yo, to be fair, that was an impersonation of a Southern person with a very New York accent.
Right, I'm sorry.
No, that's legit though. And I get it because like I said, my whole all my family is from New York, so they come off like that.
Dude,
you know?
Okay, we were kind of talking about this when you were gone. Had I not seen like Seinfeld and all of that shit before I met Naveen's parents, or not Naveen's parents, Naveen's dad's side, I might have been like, whoa, these people are like mean as fuck.
Oh yeah, you could take it the wrong way. Like,
you could
take it the wrong way.
Because it's like you'll get up and his grandma, I can't do good accents at all, but his grandma will be like, Cheney. I can't do it.
No, you have to be like, keep on going with it.
What do you want?
Yeah. It's like,
I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, dude. I'm just sitting here. I don't fucking know. Like,
I know.
You know? And it's just, that's how she approaches
intense,
you
man.
in the morning because she's from Brooklyn. And she's just like, it's just a more forward. Do people think you're mean when you talk to them?
No, I've gotten like, I've had people tell me I'm like, intimidating.
Yeah,
but
dude.
That's
damn,
it.
fucking
No one's
straight,
been
man.
like, you're mean. I feel like I wouldn't like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really talk to many people when I'm on tour, honestly. Like I'm very like I'll like go and like I'll be like getting drunk with like the bands, like whoever wants.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. It's like a raining situation.
Uh-oh.
Get drunk with me. Like we're like, let's get drunk, like have fun. Like I don't know. The only thing I've ever heard of is
Okay, say like the end of that again because you just cut out and it just replayed for us very fast.
Yeah, no problem.
So say it again.
Oh, I was just saying that the only thing that I've heard was that I'm intimidating, and that's it. And I guess it's because of my New York personality, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah, definitely, dude.
I think I'm really quite nice.
Yeah,
no, I think you're nice too, but it's just like
my grandma's 4'6".
Yeah,
and she's from Brooklyn, and she's straight up horrifying.
I just think, honestly, like
tear your ass apart.
Yeah, she's horrifying. Sorry, I just interrupted you.
No, she'll tear you apart, dude. Like
she will.
You gotta watch out. Dude.
But I think that instead of, it's not like a not nice thing. It's that I feel like you guys know how to be like forward with the things that you want a little more than other people. Like, dude, I have been walking outside of the Gramercy and I asked someone to use their lighter and the guy was like, looked at me like, what the fuck? Because it's like, I feel like if you live in New York, you're just getting faced with like people asking you to use your lighter and like walking by you and being weird as fuck all day.
Yeah.
So it's like a personality builds up in you guys where it's not mean. It's just like, I don't know, get the fuck away from me, dude.
Yeah, it's like kind of, you get like a little callous.
You're being honest about it. You go to somebody in California and you could be like the nicest person in California, but like somebody could be like, it could be like the most annoying thing is asked of you. And it's like, let's say you hate being asked for a lighter and you're in California and you're from there. Hey, can I get a lighter, dude? And you're like inside like this and you're like, yeah, man, whatever. Yeah, totally, dude.
Totally.
Yeah, take my lighter. So it's all good. But inside you're like, I want to tell this person to fuck off and like buy their own lighter for like $1.
Yeah. No, New Yorkers are like the person inside of all of us who wants to be like, fuck you, dude, get your own lighter.
Yeah.
But you guys will actually say that shit to someone.
Yeah, I mean, California is all about, especially Southern California, it's all about being like way fake. You know, like you don't know
super fake
what's what. And that's just weird.
I feel like that would actually be weird for someone like you if you like moved to somewhere like LA, which is the first place that I moved. I feel like you might be upset with how fake LA is.
I know. I've heard that like I have like friends that do live in California and they're like, you would hate it here. And I'm like, I mean, probably, but I don't picture myself living in like sunny California. Like I like my like, you know, New York with like our crazy fucking seasons and shit. Like I'm good. I'm content here. It's cool.
You think that you'll be there for the rest of your life? Like your family is there, right?
Yeah, I have family here and I have family in overseas in like several countries in Europe, but yeah, like my immediate family's all here in New York, so I wouldn't really want to leave. Do you
have a lot of siblings?
I have 2 sisters.
Okay, 2 sisters.
So
your 2 sisters and your mom all live like near you?
Well, one of my sisters lives in Missouri, but my mom and one of my other sisters live here in New York, so
why does your
pretty close. My mom's,
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying my mom lives up in Westchester, and my sister lives in like the neighborhood over from me in Queens.
Oh, that's cool. So you get to see your sister a lot.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick, man. Why does your other sister live in Missouri?
That's where like her and her boyfriend live. They like moved out there. They live there together. So.
What city?
They like it. They live in like Lake of Ozarks.
Whoa.
It's not really a city.
Wait,
it's like middle of nowhere.
Your sister is from New York and now she lives in Lake of Ozarks and she likes it?
Yeah.
Wow. That's impressive.
So my sister, this is also my sister is also like a big traveler. She lived in Puerto Rico for like a few years too. Okay. So she was always like into like living and being in different places.
Okay, that's cool. Although, you know, Iowa is like right above Missouri, so I'm like, why would you do that? But But hey, dude.
No, it's probably fucking awesome.
I know. Lake of Ozarks is actually really pretty. Like, a lot of people would vacation from Iowa down to there in the summer and shit. And it's really cool to go in the summer. Have you visited her there?
Mm-hmm.
Visited her there?
I haven't yet, but I think I'm going to plan on doing it this summer. I just like before when I had my job, I was just always like working, couldn't take off work to like go on vacation and visit like my family or like my sister. Because if I was taking off work, it was to tour. So I was just like, priorities are just at the time, it was like all hectic. But since we have like this break and stuff, and hopefully like everyone can get the vaccine and we can like move on with our lives, really. Hopefully I can get a vaccine though and like be able to feel more comfortable with traveling, because I really don't feel comfortable flying really with COVID. I also hate flying to begin with.
I do too.
The thought of flying and not dying from it crashing, but dying because I contract a fucking virus is equally as terrifying. So I'm just like, nah, I'm good.
Do you have anxiety?
Oh yeah, terrible anxiety with flying. It's like probably like one up or like right there with driving. Like I hate it. I've flown before too, but I don't go into the plane like calmly. I'm like, I'm just the worst.
I'm the same way, and I'll be like freaking out, like grabbing onto Naveen's leg and shit. No one understands why I'm so like freaking out so bad, you know, but flying just scares the shit out of me. There's something about it that
I hate it too, to be honest. I mean, there's never a time where I fly where I'm not like just thinking about dying and like I'm just thinking about the whole, you know what I mean?
It's always like I'm reading my last will and testament in my mind. Like, all right, everything.
I'm like, I had a good life. You know, like thinking about all the stuff I've done in my life, and like it's been pretty cool. If this thing goes down, like, you know.
Are you gonna be freaked out if we tell you a couple of stories about what happened to us on planes?
No, I was literally going to ask, did you guys experience some crazy shit?
We had a couple
there are two things. Okay, so there was one time we were flying to Des Moines, and there's always a layover between California and Des Moines, and it's in Denver. And we were flying into Denver, right? Like we were on our way from here to Denver, and all of a sudden the plane out of fucking nowhere just drops down to the left. It was like a steep downward, like we're flying into the ground right now.
The thing that was really freaky about it was that like it was so quiet.
It was really quiet.
You know, it was like everybody was just like, okay, we're going down.
No, seriously, everyone in the plane, like you could just feel a sense of like we're all gonna die for sure.
I didn't think that.
I thought we were all gonna die. I was like, where's it go?
Yeah, I didn't think we were gonna die, and it was similar to the where I was swerved out of the way of the car thing.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, we're not gonna die, but we're like about to crash land in like a field. That's how I felt.
I'm really happy for you that your brain went there, because
mine
went to like we're fucking dying, and everyone. I was just thinking about how everyone in their silence was just accepting like peace with their lives.
We're gonna crash land in a field, and then we're gonna be like on the news and shit. That's what I was thinking. That's what was going through my mind. Yeah.
I was like, we're dead. For fucking sure.
I guess I'm like positive.
But seriously, there was like this crazy silence throughout the entire plane, and we dove down for, it felt like 30 seconds, but it was probably 5, that we were, no joke,
yeah, it was
down.
It was fucking.
So the pilot finally got the plane back. Like, I can't really remember what happened in between that anxiety and the pilot getting the plane back in the air. But finally, when he pulled it back up, he was like, okay, just to let everyone know, we got a little too close to the plane in front of us, and their air, like the motion of their air.
Their wake.
Their wake.
It hit us. Yeah. And sent us like in this crazy fucking downward.
Yeah, so if you get too close to the plane in front of you, the air wake that they leave behind them, it'll like unsettle the air that you're flying through. So it just completely knocked us out of the air. And he got us back, but honestly, it's like, we were in no man's land at that point, because you don't know what's going to happen to you if you hit a wake. And the other scary thing that happened to us is we were flying home from tour from Europe. And for me, man, when I'm in Europe, I'm always like, oh God, I'm a plane ride away from my family. This sucks.
I'm always like, how am I going to get home?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so
me
far.
too.
It's just going to work out.
Always.
You know what I mean?
So it's always crazy. Scary anyway. But our layover was in Barcelona. So we were flying down into Barcelona and landing, and everything was fine. And, you know, it was fine. The wheels were deployed. Everything was good. And then when we were about 100 feet away from landing, the pilot all of a sudden pulled us back up into the air and didn't say anything, didn't announce anything over the speaker, and just like pulled us back into the air all rapidly and flew us around the entire city of Barcelona.
It was fucking crazy.
It was fucking scary. And we finally landed, and we were just talking to the other passengers, and everyone was like, I guess we're okay. The pilot never told us what happened or what was wrong. We just flew back up into Barcelona and flew around the city and landed, and it was just like, all right, we're here. Everything's normal. We're not going to let you know what happened. But I mean, I don't know if like the wheels didn't come out all the way or what, or if there was a plane in front of us that
like
we may
right
have
right about to land, and then it's nope, we're going back.
Yeah,
up. And I'm like,
it was like literally pulled back up into the air. Like it felt like we were on a roller coaster, dude. It was fucking crazy. Because you know, you have anxiety. It might feel like this for you. When I am about to hit the ground, I have relief over my body. I'm like, I'm making it back onto the fucking ground. But they pulled us back up into the air, and it just scared the shit out of me. It was crazy.
It's definitely scary.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine. I really do think that the first story you told me, that would have been like the one that would make me like never want to fly again.
Yeah.
Like just dipping, regardless of the fact that it wasn't because of like a plane malfunction. It was just like, hey, we were just saving everybody, like, so we did this dip and whatever.
Yeah.
I would have been like, no, I'm not. How am I gonna fly back home? I'm not.
I know.
We're gonna have to drive. Like,
have you only been on a plane one time?
No, I've been on planes like quite a few times.
Oh,
I haven't flown on a plane since I was like 17. I'm 30 now. So like, it's a long time without flying.
The first time Cheney flew on a plane was to come see me.
Yeah, it was 10 years ago. So how old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay, so I think that the first time I flew on a plane was probably like 3 years after the last time that you flew on a plane.
That's so crazy.
I know. Where was the last place that you flew?
It was Atlanta, Georgia, which was like a super easy flight. But the whole time I was like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Everyone's going to die. We're all going to die. And then I landed and the same thing. As soon as I land and I hear we're landing and we're all getting fastened to land, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like my body, I'm just like, it's like an adrenaline of like happiness and just crazy feeling of emotions of like being alive. Like,
dude,
so fucking...
Yeah, dude, my fucking
anxiety is the son of a bitch.
Dude, I had to take we've toured in Europe one time, but when we flew over, I had to take. First of all, we took like these little shots, like those dollar shots. We call them sneakamins. It's like the miniature bottles. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So
because the first time we went to Europe, we went to the like liquor store and we bought like a bunch of those little like liquor bottles because we were like, oh, apparently if you they're under, like you can pass through TSA with those.
Yeah.
So we were like sick, and we put a bunch of them in a Ziploc bag, like, I don't know, 10 or 12 of the fucking little shots or whatever. So we were like, and we're all stoked. We're going to fucking Europe for Entheos first time. We're like, yeah, let's fucking do this. So we had like a shitload of liquor in our bag, and it got through, right? And Cheney fucking drank like, I don't know, too many of them. I looked over, and like all of her shots were gone, and I was like, "Oh God!"
But dude, keep in mind, I have severe fucking anxiety, so I also had a Xanax. So I took the Xanax for anxiety, and then I also took all 8 of those shots. So I was like barfing the entire. I don't know, because I was blacked out because I was so scared.
That was the worst flight of my life.
But I'm so scared of flying, dude, that those are the measures that I'll go to like to numb myself, because I'm like, I'm not trying to. And honestly, I woke up when we were about to land in England, and I was okay, my plan worked, even though I was puking the whole time. It's like,
that's sick for your plan, but for me, it was not so chill. It was horrible. Do you have like severe anxiety in other aspects of life and not just in like flying and traveling? And
I have it in every single aspect of life, I think.
Yeah.
I have anxiety for everything. I literally will get anxiety before I go to like the grocery store sometimes and be like, Brian, I need you to write me a list. And he'll be like, you're going to the store for milk. And I'm like, no, I need to have a list. I need to have a list because otherwise I'm going to freak out and I'm not going to know what to buy. And he'll be like, you're buying oat milk, vanilla oat milk, buy Planet Oat. And I'm like, you need to write it for me. You know, like I'm like so crazy sometimes, or like, I don't know. I have anxiety with like talking to people. Like sometimes even like bartending, I used to get so anxious. Like before shift, I'd be like, all right, here it comes. Here comes all the people. Gotta get ready for it. And I would just like be pacing back, like between like back and forth along my bar, like we're just waiting for people to come in. I guess I have it in almost every aspect. Recording vocals. Oh my God. I'm like the worst.
Oh really?
I get so anxious.
Tell me how.
Like
yeah,
that. I
seriously, I have anxiety too. Tell me how though.
I get so bad. I don't know. I'm always like, okay, like I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do what I want to do. And then like I'll have like whoever I'm working with be like, you can do it. You have to calm down. And I'm like, I am calm. It's just like I can't do it. And I'll start getting like angry at myself and at the situation. Even though I can do it, I won't even like try to like open my mouth and like project the sound that I want. I'll just immediately shut down and be like, I can't. Like I'm fucking freaking out. Like I can't do this. It makes me feel uncomfortable hearing myself sometimes, or like whatever it is. But I always like push through, you know, all of these things. Just
push
fucking
through,
sucks.
man.
After,
fucking
like,
push through, and then you get through, and then you're like, that's sick.
Right. It's
Yeah.
like literally like, yeah.
I know, it's like when you get to the other end, are you like, fuck, this actually turned out really good, and I didn't need to freak out like that.
Yeah. But you also like, you can't help having anxious thoughts and like anxiety, you know? So it's like, I can't like think of it like that. I can just be like, all right, good job. Pat myself on the back and be like, next time will just be a little bit easier just because you did that, you know?
That's totally true, dude. Like I said, I have really bad anxiety too, and it's like I always kind of give myself, I call it like giving myself shit. Like while I'm recording, all my anxiety will give me shit, but after everything that I like make it through, it just adds on to my like toolbox, my tool belt. It's like I have another tool to get through this the next time that I do it.
Same here.
Yeah, it's totally a valuable thing. And anxiety, honestly, is a valuable thing sometimes too, because I feel like that like fight or flight thing that it gives me has actually gotten me through a lot of situations. Like I'm a hella bad procrastinator, and my anxiety, if I'm procrastinating something down to the last minute, my anxiety of like wanting it to turn out really well will make me just work that much harder at it. It's not like I never do anything half-assed, no matter how like last moment I'm doing it or anything. So I think anxiety can be a good thing in some situations, but
That is true.
Yep.
That is true.
yeah.
Like light a little
It's a good way
fire
to look
on
at it.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
all right, well, you already got the anxiety. So
Yeah.
it's like you got to prove it wrong.
Exactly.
Like,
It's like I gotta
Right.
Get going on this anxiety here.
I know.
I mean, I feel the same thing too, man. Like just you work up everything in your head bigger than what it really is in reality.
All the
you know?
time.
So I'll just be like, oh God, I'm like, you know, people think I'm all sick at drums or whatever, and it's like I'm a
Dude.
total. No, I'm saying, listen. I'm like,
It's like, oh,
I'm a
dude,
phony.
people think I'm
No,
like
I'm saying-
really sick.
No, but I'm sure you guys probably feel the same way. You know, it's like, oh, people
I know what you mean, babe.
like that factors in sometimes, and I'll be like, God, I'm a phony. Like I've misled these people.
Yeah,
I'm
it's like
not
if people
sick.
It's
this
true.
Is shot.
I
This
think it's
sucks.
called imposter syndrome.
Yeah,
It's like people
yeah.
think that you're really sick at something, and you're like, dude, what are these people thinking?
No, I
Like,
have
I'm
that
not.
for sure.
Yeah.
I have that for sure. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm not that sick. It's not good. But you pull through, punch
Yeah.
through. You know.
I think that honestly is like the key to getting through a lot of situations, is that no matter what your mind is telling you to feel, you just have to like get through the situation, get the thing done, and on the other side, you always feel better about it than what your mind was telling you to feel. You know,
Totally.
your mind can like prevent you from doing a lot of crazy shit, and that is one thing with anxiety. Like your mind can fucking just work against you and grind against you on a daily basis. And a part of getting over anxiety is just getting over that like grinding and that thing that happens in your mind where it's like, you're not good enough. You fucking suck at this. You're going to die, dude. You're going to, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it's like
sure.
a part of life is getting past that. And that has been something that in anxiety has helped me get over it. Cause dude, I used to have severe social anxiety, and it's like, I would scare myself before I went to a store, or scare myself before I did this. And now I just kind of tell myself, you know what? Like, people want to talk to you, and people, you're a likable person, and like people are nice at the core of it. So like, if you just go into public and kind of like act as what you think a normal person would act, there are probably a ton of other people who are going through anxiety right now too. Definitely. So you might be, getting over your anxiety by talking to people, and therefore helping them in their anxiety where they don't really want to talk to you either.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
So it's a thing.
It's not just you.
No.
Everybody's shot.
Yeah, everybody is going through some crazy shit. And that does help me a lot, just telling myself that like everyone is going through some weird shit in their minds, like constantly.
Yeah. Like the having, like, knowing that you're not alone in like a situation, regardless of it being different, like it's still like all one and the same. It's like kind of comforting. So I totally understand.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
But so where is the first place that you want to go and play when things are back again?
I want to go to Canada. Get me out of here.
Dude, Canada's sick.
Play Canada.
Canada fucking rules, man.
Have you
Canada's
guys played
like
in Canada?
my favorite country.
You guys have played there before, right?
Yeah.
Where did you?
So awesome.
Where did you play?
We did a full Canadian tour.
Oh shit.
October of 2019, and it was the most insane tour, mainly because the tour package was awesome. We like all became like best friends instantly, and we got to drive across all of Canada and see how beautiful this fucking country is. Have you guys been through all of Canada?
Yeah.
It's insane. That drive, I don't care. Like, it sucked that it was long, and like we didn't get to shower for like 2 days because we were like, we have to drive for 2 days to go all the way to Vancouver. But man, I like never seen anywhere like this in my life. Like, it was so beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And the people are awesome too. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no. We cut people off all the time, so you should cut us off.
Yeah, Canada is so sick.
And it's
I agree with you.
Dude,
I would love to go to Canada.
The shows in Canada just like rule, because Canadian people love metal so much, like more than the United States is a very like interesting scene, because I feel like a lot of people are into metal, but if you hit other countries, people like love metal even more. And Canada is one of those places where it's like you can kind of almost expect for the shows to just be off the chain, because Canada, they love metal, dude.
Dude, like our first time in Canada, Cheney and I were we were talking about how we didn't have any Canadian money, and like our bank card wasn't working at the ATM or something, and like this dude was just straight up like, hey, I overheard you guys talking, like, and he just gave us like $40.
Yeah, we were at the bar before the show.
Yeah, he like gave us $40 and was like, yeah, just get some beers, and like I overheard you guys talking. I know you can't get any money or whatever. Like, here's some money. Like, get some beers. And I was like, what the fuck? It's like insane.
I know.
It's like comical.
The nicest people
it's like
in the whole fucking world.
It's so true.
It's like comical, but just amazing. I love it. I would love to go back there too. It's
me too.
Definitely really
Same
cool.
here. I can't. I mean, I love like the east coast side of Canada, and I love the west coast side. I feel like you just go across the whole place and you're like, everyone, I just like want to hug the entire place. I'm like, oh, it's my favorite. If I could get like dual citizenship anywhere, it would be Canada and the States, and I'd be good.
Yeah,
totally. And what's cool about it is it's like there's so many less people there, so it's like they have a lot of space. Maybe that's why they're so nice. I don't know. But it's like
because they have a lot of space.
They have a lot of space.
Dude, it's the opposite of New York effect.
Yeah,
it's like
Just tons of space.
When we like met, when we first went to Canada and we saw like everyone was so nice to us, we were like, "Is this a fucking joke? Are you guys fucking with us?" And everyone's like, "What? No, like, no, you guys are like really like awesome. Like, we want to like buy you food." And I'm like, "Why?"
I know. Like, what's your guys' fucking
your
deal?
reasoning?
Yeah.
Right. And they're like, "Cause I don't know, cause I just want to do this or whatever." And I was like, wow, Canadians are just literally the nicest people. And like their niceness isn't even fake. Like they're just genuinely like so happy to be there. Like they're that person. I'm just happy to be here. This is great.
Totally.
That's what I'm saying. This fucking guy gave us like $40 just to get like a couple drinks or whatever and just hang out. I mean,
that's some Canadian
it's insane.
It's right there.
You can't explain that. It's amazing. You know, it's the best.
It's that.
What about you guys? Where do you want to play?
I want to go to Canada.
Fuck, man. Yeah, Canada would be sick.
I'd honestly just have a show at my house. Like, I don't give a fuck. Let's get a show rolling. You know, it's like, let's get a bunch of people in here.
Yeah, I'd be down for like a shitty show with like 15 people.
Yeah.
That'd be like, be super sick.
No, but I want to go to Canada. I really want to play New York. New York shows are always sick.
I know. New York's awesome. Like our band does good there.
Yeah,
So
I don't know
it's always
what's up.
a
What's
good
that?
time. Like, I'd love to play in New York.
You sounded very questioning. You're like, our band does good there.
Good there?
So
No,
it's
like,
always a good time.
Or
I don't-
Iowa would be cool.
Iowa, yeah, Texas.
We do good in Iowa because Cheney's from there. So,
You only want to play places that we do good. It's like,
well, if we're talking about,
it's like,
you know,
I want to play somewhere that, you know, people.
well, why wouldn't I want to do that? What am I gonna do? I'd say like, let's play the worst place for
I
us.
know. Let's play. No, I actually do. I want to go back to Berlin though.
Yeah, that'd be cool to hear. Yeah, anywhere in Europe would be insane,
Europe
for sure.
Honestly,
Europe is just awesome. I hear. We haven't played there. Hopefully, we will. Like, you know, within the next 2 years or so. But what is it about Europe? Oh, I'm asking you guys the questions. But what is it about like European tours that are, and like, you know, this goes as far as like the hospitality and like the shows themselves. What's different about that than that you don't get, or that you do get that you don't get here in the States when you like
Dude, it's
go
so
on tour?
different. Right when you get there, you're like, all right. Right when you get to, I remember, I will never forget, dude. The first time I went to Europe, I was just right when I got there, I was like, yeah, this is just so different.
Well,
you know,
one of the things is that a lot of the times it's like people are on a bus. So a lot of the times it's like 4 bands on a bus, on like a double-decker bus. And that just right away is fun because you're hanging out with a bunch of people,
yeah,
right?
it's like all the bunks are upstairs. So there's like
Yeah.
18 fucking bunks upstairs, and then downstairs is like a whole big lounge. So like the first day you're like, I mean, it's kind of like a fucking reality show.
Yeah,
You know
and
what
it's
I mean?
like
you're
camp.
meeting, like, hey, we're gonna live together, you know, blah blah. It's like real world or whatever.
Yeah,
whatever.
totally.
And it's like that's super sick.
But
and then
as far as the hospitality goes, it's like if you roll up to a venue every day, you get out of the bus at like 2, and every band has hospitality. Like in the United States, it really depends on how big your band is and what type of venue you're playing. Like, dude, if you're playing a House of Blues in the US every day, you're getting hospitality and you're getting fed. But if you're playing like whatever bar, like if you're playing Gramercy, you're not getting like a bunch of hot plate of food and shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Unless you're like a huge band and you have catering. In Europe, everyone's getting catering. It's to everyone's desires. If you're vegan, you're eating like a fucking king over there. And if you are a meat eater, you're eating like a fucking king over there. And it's
depending on where you are.
England is not as good. But the rest of Europe is always like you're getting catered. You're getting you're getting a bottle. You're getting a case of beer. You're getting food.
There's a lot of beer.
You're getting fed. And then, you know, if you're on a bus, which most of the time you are, depending on what like agency you're going through, some people will end up on sprinters and shit, which I've heard is a little harder.
I've never done a sprinter tour in Europe.
Yeah, and you've done a few tours.
I did like a week sprinter tour with animals.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was it harder than the
In Europe?
Yeah.
It was actually in just the UK. So it was like we went and did like 1 week in the UK, which was actually way sick because we went to all these really small UK like towns, like villages. You know what I mean? It was fucking cool.
Yeah.
And then after that, we were on a bus with another band, and it was a good time. But other than that, I've always done just like a bus share type situation.
Yeah, like I've heard of
Not that I deserved it.
some of my friends, like Travis. He had toured. He was in this band called Scale the Summit, and he had done a tour in Europe, and it was all on Sprinter, which he said was kind of hard. Like they would be in a Sprinter and then go to a hostel every single night.
Yeah.
But you know, countries in Europe are a little closer together than like states here.
Yeah,
So-
but still, even though they're close, like you can't. It's not, the driving conditions are not the same.
right.
Like here, you can just fucking get on the highway and like bust to
yeah.
the state really quickly. Like there, your drive might be going through like these old fucking towns. It's
Yeah.
like crazy.
Dude,
It's
what I will
fucking
say
weird,
is that there were some days where because my bunk had a window in it, and there were some days where I would wake up in my bunk and open the window, and we'd be like literally on a fucking mountainside.
Yeah, it's
and I'd
it's
be
weird.
staring down and like no railing, nothing, and I was just like, "Fuck this! I'm going back to sleep. I'm not gonna. I can't like be awake through this. Otherwise, I'll be crying in the lounge, and someone's gonna have to like save me." But
Yeah, it's not good.
but it just the hospitality alone is like, you know,
It's
we
insane.
don't. It's fucking hard if you like don't eat meat and stuff around this country. It's really hard to find food, especially at the venue, because a lot of the times here you're dealing with like bar food and shit, but there it's actual hospitality. So to me, that was like the best part, and why it's so cool to tour in Europe is because if you go through certain booking agencies, you're for sure getting on a bus, and then you're like partying with every other band, and you know it's being on a bus. It's way different than being in a van and having to drive every night.
It's more touring. Like everybody gets to hang out. Nobody has to worry about doing the drives and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's so much more relaxing and fun. I can't imagine it being like super relaxing, like going through certain countries. I'm assuming it might be like a little like weird when you're touring, but other than that, I feel like maybe touring in Europe is just like I like can't wait to experience it. But I'm sure it's like one of the best ways to tour. One of the best places to tour at.
It's definitely one of those things that when you're over there, you're like, how the fuck did like screaming into a microphone get me over into
Yeah.
like, how did this happen? I have no
Right.
idea.
I mean, there's just so many moments where you're like, yeah, how is this happening?
Yeah.
This is fucking crazy.
How did my love
dude.
of death metal get me like
Definitely.
all the fuck? But all right, we're about to hit 2:13. So I wanted to ask you, because you have like a really cool music taste, man. You're like into a lot of bands that not a lot of people know about. And I wanted to ask you, what are some sick bands that you think that we should check out and that people listening should check out?
I don't know. I feel like I listen to a lot of the same things you guys listen to. Right now, I'm currently listening to like Earth Crisis.
Oh, fuck
Damn.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
which album?
Okay. Yeah, what
album?
album?
It's not a specific album. I just like was like listening to them like recently this week, and I
Slither.
put them on a shuffle.
Dude,
So I
Breed
was
the
listening
Killers.
I think I have like the playlist. Hold on, let's see.
Dude, Breed the Killers
yeah.
was like life changing for me, dude. Like when I heard that, I was just like, oh my god, sickest band.
I was also okay. So it was Earth Crisis, Integrity. I listened to Strangled,
Okay.
and I guess like personal favorites are like Cow Decapitation and Job for Cowboy.
Oh, sick. You know,
alright.
Naveen played on the new J-Fat.
Really,
Yeah,
Yeah,
J-Fac
I
is
didn't
putting
know that.
J-Fac is putting out a new album, and Naveen is the drummer on it.
They're allegedly doing it.
Allegedly.
We did the drums, but I don't know what's going on after that.
That's kind of
comment.
sick.
Can't comment.
It's like it's really like the sickest thing ever. But like, what do you mean? Are they gonna release it or not? Like now I'm kind of tight.
Yeah,
What
I know.
the fuck do you mean?
That's a good. I'm gonna.
No one knows.
Johnny is listening to this.
I know
right
Johnny is
now.
listening. Like, you
So,
motherfuckers don't say anything
He's
about
gonna
my
get mad at
band.
me. He's gonna send me a text in all caps. That's his favorite.
You let the word out.
But dude, Earth Crisis, legit.
That's
They're from
legit.
upstate New York. I'm sure you know that. Yeah. I'm a huge Earth Crisis fan, by the way. Like I fucking.
Oh really?
Yeah. I saw them like. I was a little kid, but it was way back in the day, and it was Walls of Jericho opened.
Oh shit!
And
I loved Walls.
It was actually In Flames and Earth Crisis.
Whoa!
It's such a sick lineup.
In Flames opening for Earth Crisis.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Because there was like a point where there was no way that would have happened.
I mean, honestly, it was in that era, you know, like really early 2000s, that sort of thing wasn't common at all. You know what I mean? It became more common like later on, maybe in 2000 to 2010, stuff started mixing. And I feel like now it's more separated. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like now the genres are so separated, but at that time it was like they were trying to mix it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it was
the genres are more separated now, which I think is interesting. It's like we were kind of talking about this a while ago, where it's like every genre has kind of spawned out of like one band. Yeah. Like there's one band at the helm of every genre, and it's like a million bands kind of sound like a part of that band. Totally. And it seems like all of those bands like more so play together now than it is like an amalgamation of like metallic genres playing together. Like hardcore bands don't really, like, you're not really going to see like a Jesus Piece Rivers of Nile tour.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. But like,
right, but that would be so fucking sick if that happened.
It would be
I know.
So sick.
It's like those are the shows that I fucking loved that about back in the day. That it's like you could see, I don't know, Converge like toured with weird, you know, BT Bam and stuff. I don't know if we'd see that as much now, but I would love to see that shit. It'd fit my taste.
Agreed.
Me too. Me as well. Another band that I love is Gojira, and I'm like so excited for their newest album to come out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are Gojira fans.
Did you check out the new song?
It's so fucking sick.
I haven't checked it out yet.
I haven't listened to it yet either.
I gotta listen to it. Yeah, I know.
I heard Another World. And dude, we've been watching so many live Gojira videos on YouTube lately. It's like, dude.
Yeah, we always
because Gojira was
they're phenomenal.
Yeah, Gojira is one of those bands that like got me live. Like watching videos of them live, I'm like, okay, I know what's up now. This band is like nothing to fuck with. Their live performances are fucking crazy.
Yeah, definitely. And
incredible.
I know I've seen like friends of mine and stuff posting like, hey, Gojira just dropped a fucking new song. Like, I should probably go listen to it because I definitely love Gojira for sure.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's good, obviously. I mean, how's it not going to be good?
I personally take a lot of influence. I think Gojira is one of those bands that's perfected like the pitched vocal thing. Yeah. And to me,
I agree.
Yeah, it's like
it's ridiculous.
One of those things that I want to take into my toolbox and like use as a voice. And
so that being said, what's up with your guys' new material? Like, what direction are you guys going in? You going more?
Yeah, what direction?
Going more brutal?
I mean, I don't know. I think we've always been like a band that plays like multiple things. We're not like just like a brutal death band or a metalcore band or a hardcore band. We just like, we're like a little bit of everything because we all like a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So with that being said, this album definitely showcases more of that. And I think vocally I've pushed myself to like a limit that I haven't before. I do a lot more singing, which I'm actually very nervous about because I feel like people are going to be like, whoa, what's this? Look out, Evanescence. But
I'm doing a lot. I'm doing singing on our new record too, so we can hold each other's hands and like, you know,
I get
be
it.
like, fuck.
We should send her the track.
Yeah, I want to show you the track, but dude, we're going that way too. And I know it's weird that there's like an apprehension associated with that. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Totally, because it's also like, this is what like people mistaken me for all the time. They're always like, oh, she's going to sing when she performs. And now like I'm actually like trying to sing and I'm like, well, this is really fucking nerve wracking. Like, I don't know if I want to do this, but I'm really excited, I guess, because was able to like push myself to do something like this, and it's not like my usual like guttural like type shit that I like to do. It's like, I don't know, it's just different and it's very exciting, and I think everyone in the band pushed themselves really for this next album, so I'm just excited. I can't wait until we release it.
That's fucking
That's
awesome, man.
fucking
Do you guys have do you know when you're going to put it out or anything like that?
Not yet. We're doing like the last finishing touches and stuff, and then take it from there. Hopefully soon, though, sooner than later.
Amazing. You guys are on Prosthetic, right?
We are.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. I'm so excited to hear your new stuff. I'm a fan of your band, and we've been like, I told you, I texted you the other day, like we've been watching your videos all week and shit, and you guys rule. I'm excited to hear whatever you put out next. And, you know, you're a fucking sick vocalist. I feel like I've heard a little bit of your singing before. Like you sang on a song.
Yeah, I have. But we have like full blown like
singing songs.
Singing, like yeah. So I mean, it's cool. It's really, it's cool. I'm excited to hear what you got in store too, especially if you're singing. I feel like less like nervous now for some reason. Cause like, I don't know, like, you know, like when you're not, I'm not used to like hearing you sing. That's not like that's not like something that I would ever think I would hear from you. And it's actually so exciting. Like, I'm so excited.
Hell yeah, dude.
I want you to hear it, man. I feel the same way. Cause like, even just me, I'm not used to like producing, singing or that type of thing. But like Cheney and I have messed around with it in a bunch of other parts before. But this time around, when we did it, it was like, all right, man, like we just did that. You know what I mean? Like we did it and it was like, holy shit, this is pretty fucking cool, man.
Well, dude,
you know, before it was like, yeah, that could be cool. You know, that's all right. But
and honestly,
this time
like,
around, it was like, this is fucking
in the past,
cool.
It wasn't like, okay, the singing is cringy. It was just like, okay, the singing over the part, that's not necessarily where we see our band going.
Yeah.
You know? Because we're
exactly.
like, we're very aware of
it's a
like,
fine line.
Yeah.
You know?
So this time around when we did singing, we were like, okay, this is like singing that's like our band singing. And it's not like us trying to be some other band or anything. This is like naturally what we would do. And personally, I think that like when bands do approach singing like that, as opposed to just throwing in the fucking singing chorus so that we can be a bigger band. Like I enjoy singing when it comes from like a very natural place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and our main thing is like we always want, especially with our new material and stuff, like we want it to sound evil and we want it to sound like dark and metal. So, you know, when like metal bands just throw singing in there and it like sounds super poppy, it's like we fucking hate that. You know what I mean? So this time around, we're like, all right, we want it to sound evil. You know, like if they're singing or screaming, it doesn't matter which one it is, but we want it to sound like dark and just evil. You know what I mean?
Sick talk. Yeah. We're playing like metal, and you know, I feel like both of our bands are more on like the death metal side of metal. We're not on like the happy side. So it's like, fuck yeah, you want it to be dark. You want people to like, when they listen to it, to like fucking feel whatever you're feeling in that moment when you're writing and doing those parts for that song. You want people to fucking feel it. I completely am with you.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's like hard to have that come across with singing, and I want to do that for sure.
Yeah,
but I always want to make sure that it's something that's evil and dark and fucking brutal.
Can you relate? You always want your shit to come across as something
that's how
evil?
I want my shit to come across, straight up.
Definitely. Yeah.
You know,
I love that's like, but I think that's like what held me back from like trying to sing on songs, because I was like, oh, it's not going to sound good. But I think even though I did sing on this album, I think you still get the like dark, there's still that dark aura around it, especially like with the lyrics that were written and the way that the music's written. It's still very, very dark, and there's like this undertone of like sadness that's there.
Exactly.
And I like that.
It's got that has to be there, and I feel like that's the thing. When that's not there, and that's when it sounds stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I think that honestly it sounds corny when people are just trying to do it to like be like, we have a singing part now, we're gonna be huge, we're gonna be on the radio.
Exactly.
That's when shit comes off as being hella corny. But I feel like if you do it from a place that's like, you know what, fuck you, I actually really like singing, and I really think that singing could add to this part in a great way, and it still holds the vibe I want it to hold, and it's
Exactly.
still doing everything I want it to do, but it's not corny because I'm not doing it out of like a place that thinks I'm going to make money. Because let's be
Exactly.
real, do any of us think we're ever going to make money off of doing what we do?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I hope so, but probably not.
What just hold on? Something just happened. We
her.
lost you.
We lost her. Are you muted?
Oh,
there
sorry.
we go.
I muted myself.
Oh no! It sounded like you said something really cool too.
I did say something really cool, but you know what? I had to mute myself because my apartment, the heater makes like a clank noise. So like you'll hear like it sounds like someone's banging my pipes.
Oh shit!
And I was like, I can't tell if they could hear this or not, or if you guys were both being really polite and being like, yeah, so I thought you guys heard it. I was like, I gotta mute myself because
We didn't hear
it's
it.
so loud.
What'd you say?
I was saying that it would be sick if I could just do guttural vocals and make like $1 million. But,
I know.
You know, I mean, if it happens, because I'm singing, that's kind of cool. Like,
I know. It's like
Either way.
I won't turn down the millions of dollars
either
because
way.
I'm
Right.
singing,
Either
but I'm not gonna just do it to be like a fucking pop star, you know. But I won't turn
Like
down the
this-
money.
Yeah, same.
All right, man. So we've hit 2:20. We're gonna call it. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for
man.
being on the podcast. It means a lot.
Thank you guys
Hang
for
out with us
having
for
me.
so long. Hell yeah.
Super good time, man.
All right,
For real.
everybody, here's your mic call. Have a good fucking week.
For sure. Well, fuck. Thanks a lot for coming on the show.
All right,
Appreciate
everyone.
ya.
Check out Amanda's band, The Machinist.
All right, Amanda. We'll fucking catch up with you next time.
Yep. All right, guys.
All right.
Thanks,
Peace.